I'm about to take the earbuds out my ear, man.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Wasting your time.
Single-handedly handle
Drinking that
gangbang.
wine. Smoking that smoke. Doing that coke. Dealing that dope. Giving up hope. Gang banging. Gang banging. Gang banging. Staying up late. Preaching that hate. Define your mother. Killing your brother. Killing in waves. Filling up graves.
He had bars, bro. Like y'all tripping.
Gang banging. Gang banging.
It's horrible, man.
No, it's not. It's not. You're a
You know that bullets are flying, babies are
drive by.
dying. A child at play got in the way. Innocent children.
Well, folks gonna fast forward the hell out of this part.
No, you're not.
Gang banging. Gang banging. Gang banging. Gang banging.
They won't.
Gang banging.
This is torture.
No, it's not, bro.
What you thinking now? What you doing? Just how many lives do you have to ruin? Gang banging.
Somebody gotta do something about the damn knowledge. Somebody gotta.
Break it down. I bet you don't even know how it started.
I bet you don't know how it started.
How you came to be in this position.
Bro,
Hate was handed down by somebody. It's just a neighborhood, no good. Hand me down, been around.
The Facebook don't even want to play it.
I gotta let Smokey go.
Please.
Ain't gonna. I don't disrespect Smokey. Anyway, man. So one of the things I want to talk about is materialism, and I don't want to call this bullying. I just want to call this kind of growing up. You. I think you got to get roasted a little bit, but we'll get into that. But the first part about it, man, I'm gonna play the video, and you've never seen the video. So there's an episode of Atlanta where the kid, his mom he wanted a FUBU jersey, and his mom got him one, and she got it from, I don't know if it was a thrift store, I don't know if it was a secondhand store, I don't know where she got it from, but she got him one for it. And he was excited about it. He laid it out the night before because he was ready to go because he was going to be fresh in his FUBU. And the video I'm finna play is the results of what happened when he wore that FUBU to there you go. Oh, they go Mark, man. He just now getting in there. What up, boy?
Papa Smurf.
Let it do what it do.
We first thing we finna have a little bit of fun, man. And this is perfect because boy, I know you know what this is all about, but we finna talk about a little materialism in the among the collective. I want to get y'all thoughts on it. Yeah. But I don't I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing what we finna witness here. I think we've all witnessed it. I think we all been through it. I think it's a part of growing up too. I think it's straight up a part of growing up.
Oh, definitely.
To a certain degree. But here we go. We finna dive into it. I don't know if y'all can see the note, but the girl, they asked him. They just not asked him was this FUBU shirt fake, and he checked the no on the box.
So, it sure looks fine to me.
But if it's fake, everybody's gonna roast me. Forever. Remember how Thomas got his nickname?
Who?
Thomas Jones. Doodle Jones.
Oh, yeah. Well, is your shirt fake?
I don't know.
Doesn't seem like a big deal to me. I've worn this shirt twice this week.
Now you trying to hide the shirt.
Oh, shit. Look at this. Nigga, where did you get this fake ass FUBU from? A thrift store?
My shirt's not fake. I got it at a regular store.
How much it cost?
I don't... My mom bought it for me.
Oh, come here. Look at him trying to hide his fake shirt. I'm trying to hide that shit now. It's too late, nigga.
My shirt's not fake.
I don't know, man. It looks fake to me. Hey, this nigga ain't got on FUBU. Got Phoebe, nigga. Hey, everybody! This man got on Phoebe! Ah! Like something well, 4-line Adidas and shit. What's wrong with him?
Watch it. We all been there. So, do we have a problem in our culture when it comes to materialism to a degree? If you saw the video, you saw the other kid, the white kid, did not care. He said, "I done wore the same shirt twice this week." So he had no fear. He wasn't worried about it. He wasn't bothered about. He wasn't worried about those kind of things. The other kid had the brother, black kid, had a legit fear of getting roasted for having on what was assumed to be a fake FUBU shirt. And we know good and well, let's keep it a buck. We know good and well that this existed when we was young and coming up. How did that influence? How does that influence our material mindset? And is there anything we can do about it?
Would you like to go first, Sam?
I was just about to ask you the same thing.
Because I mean, I'm gonna dive in when I'm going, so you go ahead and go.
No, go and dive in.
Yeah, kill it, jump in.
Yeah, man.
Head first.
Well, I mean, this is one of the main. I don't know if it's a main, but this is a huge issue in our culture. It's utterly ridiculous that we would have the audacity to be in damn near last place and be wanting to play dress up and spend our resources on dressing up and impressing each other, especially when the other races don't do none of that. Now, the ones who can afford it do it to some extent, right, but not even the way that we do it. You know, we do it in such a peacock, type of way, and it's a poison in our community because people will spend their last dollar on a belt or a chain or, some other ridiculous thing, just to have acceptance. That's what it boils down to. Acceptance within, our community, and so, yeah, it's terrible, man. Like, I look at, when we grew up, and of course I was on the same stuff. I mean,
absolutely.
At that stage in life, you want to fit in with the crowd, you want to impress girls, you want to do all that stuff. But man, how much money do we give to other people,
bro,
in the name of clothes,
bro?
To be losing,
bro.
The audacity,
bro.
like we're losing,
bro,
like we're losing. We're damn near on the bottom of the totem pole, and we all have the audacity to be peacocking around in Gucci and all this other BS. Like, and see, that's why, you know, in my adult age, I've completely switched that up. I do not spend money on clothes or anything like that. This right here is a $7 t-shirt from H&M that I got on sale.
Bruh.
And I think I look pretty good in it, you know what I'm saying? So it's more about, you know, keeping, you know, the body good and everything else. And damn the clothes, man. Like, you know, you want to look presentable, of course, but damn spending a whole lot of money on clothes. No.
And let me piggyback off what you're saying. It's not just peer pressure, because that video showed the peer pressure, but it's not just peer pressure. Parents are actually grooming this now. Now it's getting to the point where parents are getting kids involved with this at a young age. I've seen parents talk about, I'm not gonna have my 2-year-old rocking nothing but J's. It's a goddamn 2-year-old. They don't care. The 3-year-old wants shoes that light up. The 5-year-old wants their favorite cartoon character, SpongeBob. Like, are you kidding me? And then it gets to a point where they're naturally gonna get the pressure from their peers. That's natural. But if their mindset is just different when they go into that space, it's going to have less of an effect on them long term. I think because then by the time they get to our age, like you said, Marcus, in your grown man years, that shit ain't even a factor. It's like, what? Gucci belt? What? Why would I?
I think it's
ain't
mask.
got no stocks. Ain't got no stocks. Niggas have Gucci belt. They ain't got no trading account. No 401k.
Buy the brand and won't own the brand. Buy the brand but don't own the brand.
Oh man, it's a poison mindset.
I think the difference between the black kid and the white kid, as I guess, it's an analogy right now. The video is an analogy between, you know, to show the differences between the two mindsets, as they represent, you know, white community, black community. It's a mindset thing. You know, white people have always been more, as a whole, they're always been more economically stable and economically aware, educated. So they know what real value is. And for people that literally came from nothing, and really didn't have much of value, anything of value to pass along, even down to the poor education that we received. What I guess the thing, what people, a lot of us feel like wearing name brand or appearing to be wealthy puts us on the same playing field as what we perceive in white people as being a community of wealth and economic status. So if we don't have it, at least we look like we got it. And then it morphed into, well, let me show out that well nigga get like me type of you remember we used to say that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Nigga, get like me, nigga, you don't got these, nigga. You know, I got these new J's, nigga. You don't got them, I got these. So it became a competition to see who was the most well off in the hood.
Right. In the hood.
Yeah, it's just like, nigga, you live up the street from me. So we're in the same economic basket. But
and we're trying to one up each other.
Yeah.
Through our parents' incomes that obviously have us here, or by doing something illegal to make it look like we got more than what we got.
Yeah.
A super short-term mindset that stems from so many things. I mean, that's a short-term mindset. That's short-term thinking. It reminds me of Kevin Giles, man. I don't know if y'all know who that is, but he was one of the guys that, you know, early in the 80s, 90s era of drug dealing. Kevin Giles, you know, he was back there with Rich Porter, all of them. He was in that group, right? And one of the things he said that made sense was, he said, you got to remember that we were all 20 something and younger. He said none of us were older than 22, and we were as young as 14, 15. None of them were even thinking what it would be like to make it past 25. So when you have that mindset of I'm not going to live long, you got a fear and scarcity mindset. Let me spend all this money to look as good as I can now, not even considering what the future might bring. Then when you turn around and you're 35 and 40 and you're like, oh wait, I did what with what? And it boggles the mind. And then when it gets passed on to children is when it's worse. That's when it becomes culture. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing for it to be individual, but it becomes culture when you start to pass that shit on to the children.
Man,
Well,
I hate it.
I'm gonna say something, right? Say something a little controversial, right?
Go ahead.
I would say,
hello, and Letitia's finna join us.
Okay.
Oh, the matchmaker.
Yeah, I'm finna have her join us.
Okay, cool.
She came in.
So
go ahead.
So, in my personal experience,
there you go.
A lot of the households that operated in that way and that pushed that type of agenda were led by women. And so, oftentimes if there's a man in the house, he's going to curb that a little bit. He's not going to let the woman dress the little boy up like the man that she wished that she had. You know what I'm saying? And so, it all ties in with the epidemic of single motherhood and single women-led households that we have in our community as well.
Okay, so let me speak to one. I think you're absolutely right to a large degree if it's the right man. The right man. Because I have heard out of men's mouths with my ears that I'm not going to have my son ain't going to rock nothing but Jordans. I've heard this from men that were married and in a home. Now,
who were those men raised by?
Oh, see, listen, that part I don't know, but I'm saying so. That's what I'm saying. The
I'd be willing to bet. I'd be willing to bet.
He probably was.
I'd be willing to bet because traditional guys that work hard for their money. Nah, man. If I spend any extra disposable money on anything, it's gonna be on me. Okay, or possibly my lady.
Oh yeah, or your lady, right?
Not on those damn kids.
Absolutely.
Are you kidding me? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah. That's foolish.
Listen, do I need to quote my pop? My pop had. I laugh about it now, but I wasn't laughing then when he said there was a $50 max on shoes. Bro. $50.
That means you was getting the Reebok Classics.
Look,
and not the high tops.
Bro.
You had to get the low lows.
Look, this is what it meant. I'm giving you 50.
And then you got to add to it.
Whatever it costs to counter. No, and this is what it wasn't 50 on the sticker. It had to come up to $50 tax included. And he was not doing it. If I got to the and it said $51.36, he looked at me. You might want to go get something else.
Pops know how to budget.
And that's the same way my grandfather was. So and then that's the same way I was. You know what I'm saying? So there is a trickle down effect to the way you see these things, the way you look at these things, and the way you groom and raise your kids. Now, go ahead.
I want to say something to that. By large, I was raised by grandma, aunt, great aunt. I came from a 2-parent household. Mom and daddy was married, but they struggled like hell. Daddy was a drug addict, and my mama, she did the best she could with what she had. So we were spoiled at my grandma's house, which is why we preferred staying over there. They didn't give us a limit. It's just what we liked, they gave. But that didn't roll over into me being a parent,
They
because I did the
don't.
same thing Pop Hills did. That, and I told them the last time when school let in, going back to school, I said everybody got $75.
Bro,
That's the budget.
did you just adjust for inflation?
Hey man,
Basically,
It's
that's
still
what it sounds
$50.
like.
It
That's
sounds
what it
like
sounds like.
he just adjusted for
That's the same
inflation.
amount.
Good Lord,
that's it.
bro.
$75. So when we got to the mall, went through rack room shoe, because the thing was, I'm still stuck on rack room shoe deals. See, I got a lot of kids, and those deals, when you buy one get one 50% off, it came in handy. I loved it when they were younger. But now that they're all in, well, most of them in high school, 3 of them in high school, and 1 in middle school, on the way to high school next year. They gotta look like they're friends, right? So we're in the mall. I don't like those. I don't like those. I don't like them. You still got $75, and I ain't gonna keep bouncing around from store to store. I knew $75 wasn't gonna get them what they wanted, but still, that was the budget. So now it's they get money for little odd jobs or whatever they do around the house or whatever. The 16-year-old, she do hair. My wife give her some money for doing the other girl's hair or whatever. So she was like, I take the $75 and then I take my money and put the rest to it. Okay, now we're talking. That's what you make money for. So my money is to supply your needs. If you don't like what I'm supplying, then take your little money, and then you add to it and get what you want.
Wait, don't call it her little money. That's not nice. Her little money. Don't do that.
Little money. It ain't paying no bills around here.
Little money.
So I think that yes, it is learned, and I know that I may be an anomaly because it didn't affect me in the way that I view things. So I'm not gonna say, nah, that ain't even true. No, because I know that it's true. I know that we mirror more times than not our parents' parenting style.
Right.
To
some degree.
But I just want, to some degree. So, but then sometimes you can notice a little little chip in the armor with the way they did things, and then you make adjustments. So the point of sharing that was to share that sometimes you gotta, you gotta call an audible. You know what I'm saying? On the way that you were raised.
I know with my wife now, she definitely wasn't spoiled like that when she was young, and she definitely was like, all right, cool, she learned to do hair. She did all sort of things to make her own and do her own, and even now, even as an adult, she's reasonably frugal. She's not a brand person. It needs to look good on her body. That's like her standard. It needs to look good on her frame, and she fine as hell. So that just is what it is. But her son, so she has, and our son, there's a budget. It's an overall budget. He can allot to a degree where it all goes. If he wants to spend 80% of that budget on some KDs, the other percentage, the last 20% of that budget is gonna be whatever she decides. He don't even get to see and pick whatever other stuff is. Like, she'll say, do you like? But at that point, she's allotting the rest of it because, like, okay, this is the budget. I'm not burning this on this and this on this. You're not getting all of what you want. You can sometimes get some of what you want because that's the way the world is anyway. The world is anyway. And boys absolutely have to pick that up at a very young age. Girls absolutely need to pick it up too. But men, we are seeing the results of when the wrong men get the wrong information and they go out into the world. You know what I'm saying? And we're seeing the same thing with girls. When they get the wrong information early on and go out into the world, it's not good. Now, now I want to flip this a little bit because the kid got roasted for not dressing the part.
Mm-hmm.
Is there what are the pros and cons to getting roasted? I know, like we all been roasted and we all partaken in some. So
Mm-hmm.
there to me, there's some value in getting roasted. You know what I'm saying? And then
Builds
there's some
character.
drawbacks. What's that? Go in on that.
No, I said it builds character.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah,
I wasn't going in. I was just interjecting real quick.
It builds character. Right.
mm-hmm. And that's what I was gonna say. It definitely does build character, and you know my household, man. You know that I was born in the fire. So matter of fact, they were just roasting me in the group text earlier today. So that it's that but when you know that it's done in fun and it's not being malicious, and you learn how to laugh along with being roasted, then it does build character. Some
Right.
people when I mean, and we've been doing this to each other since we was in diapers.
Wait, to each other or to anybody who walked through them doors?
Both.
Yeah.
Both.
Let's be clear. Anybody who stepped foot in 1888 Hoover Street, not the first day you come, but once you get a little familiar, you done been over there a few times. It's game off. It's just tee off. It ain't no warning. Ain't no bracing. The jokes just flow, and it doesn't matter. Like when it's done in fun, it's different because on your worst day you're gonna get flamed, and when there's nothing to roast you about whatsoever, you still finna get roasted. So you in a 3-piece suit, you pulled up in a limo, you doing everything right, and them jokes is still gonna come, and you can't help but, man, me and Marcus used to sit on the bus, and oh my God, bro, in the back of the bus, me roasting him getting on me making them dumbass voices to repeat something every time somebody said something, and he just be dying laughing at,
Going
like,
crazy.
we was relentless, and it did build character, man. It gave us tough skin. It gave us a sense of humor. It hones intelligence. It makes you quick-witted. You got to be able to respond. You learn self-deprecation at a young age to how to be more human because it makes you more human. You start to realize at a young age, man, we all flawed and we all trying to figure it out. And if you slip up one day and didn't blow your nose or didn't do something right or whatever, and somebody said, "Hey, bro, did you look in the mirror before you left the house?" Know what you mean? And it's a wrap. All you can do is
hold that L. That's it. You can hold that L.
No. Come here. Show your face. Where'd you get your hair? Where'd you get your haircut? A messed up haircut. If you let your uncle cut your hair and it's jacked up, bro, you had to just take that L. And it built character. I absolutely think it built character.
Man, the worst thing you can do is get mad. When you get mad, that's fueling the fire.
Yeah.
So when a nigga is getting laughs at your expense and he see that you're getting mad, that's his cue to dig even deeper.
Even deeper.
So it was one, you remember when we went to OEC, right?
Yeah.
And it was a nigga that used to sit like in the middle of the bus or something. And he used to always go up and down the road trying roasting people, whatever, talking about the bus driver and everybody. So I just sit there and wait for my turn.
You wanted him to get you. You wanted him to get you.
I wanted him to come down my aisle. And so that nigga was in our art class.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was standing there and I was clean. That was when F41 was big. So I was matching, whatever, put together outfit or whatever. So I'm standing there. I think I'm waiting to get some paper or something. And he making his rounds around the classroom, whatever. I'm like, today's the day. I can feel it. I can feel it. And so he looked at me and look at my shoes and he brought his eyes up to my shirt and everything. Only thing that came out of his mouth, man, you got some big feet, don't you? I was like, nigga.
That's the best you could do? I've been waiting on you. That's the best you did.
Nigga, I've been waiting half a year, and that's it. I ain't gonna get a nigga response, man. I'm like, nigga, you ain't even worth it. You ain't even worth it, man. So, if I wasn't, if I mean, if I was the type that allowed roasting to define me and to destroy my self-esteem, then I wouldn't have been prepared. You know what I'm saying? I think he would have been able to sniff that out. And then he probably would have tried to get in because that nigga went after people he knew wasn't gonna say anything back.
Of course. I've seen that on social media. Man, you look, I don't want to get too heavy into it, but we've been in groups. Me and Marcus have been in groups and just watched people pick people, and we're like, we know who you're going for. You're going for who you can go for. You know what I'm saying? And who it don't work on, it ain't gonna work on. So it's definitely one of those things that build character. I do think I've always been the anti-bully. You know what I'm saying? So I've always looked at, like, similar to you, the dude that was doing all the roasting and thought he could pull it off the best. I want him. That's who I want, because I don't want to pick on the kid or get a laugh at the expense of the kid who I know just by looking at him, he can't afford things, or he's moving a certain kind. Like, you can look and see that circumstances are obviously some sort of way. I'd rather catch one of my peers that I joke with all the time slipping, and I want to get them. I don't want to get the less fortunate in a given situation. You know, so I think it's when the roasting is at the expense of the less fortunate, it can cause harm, and that's where bullying, that's where anxieties, that's where those things come into play. And even more dangerously, you mess around and get a kid that come back to the school and decide he want to air that bitch out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm using my words very carefully because I don't want them to get struck. We know they're sensitive. But getting roasted has led to kids coming back to schools and airing it out. You know, so there's definitely levels to it. The next thing I want to get into, see, this one ain't fair because we needed a woman here for this one. We did, but it's fine.
Where's the t-shirt?
Oh, no, she said next time. She said next time. She was just sending me. She said let her know next time. So check this out. I was watching a video, and it centered around a bit of dating etiquette. Should men come to a door on a first date? Especially being that the woman has invited you, she's giving you her address, information, you pull up. Should you go up to the door? What I want to do is I want to play this particular video and look at what the men have to say and how the women are responding before we give our take on it. And I don't mean for this to be a yes session, but I know kind of how we move. We all got daughters and we all move a certain kind of way. But there's going to get to a point where it's going to bring us on around full circle, and we're going to see some shit in here that obviously the culture of women that claim to have these standards and want to be treated a certain kind of way, you can see the results of this shit that they're getting in their head and how they're living starting very young. I'm gonna go ahead and let it take off.
Tell him my goddamn daughters. If you gave him the address and he just hit you with the 4-letter words, and I don't want my daughters dating. Let's keep it 100. Listen, let's keep it 100. I'm talking with that mentality.
Keep it 100.
Listen, let's keep it 100. Listen, let's keep it 100. Listen, I don't want my daughters to be dating a guy that's in the mode that Rico is at this point in time in his life. So at the end of So at the end of the day, it goes to what I'm saying. Like, nah, you got to come to that door. I'll give it to.
But you got to be real though, because it's not happening.
Going to the door.
Oh, Jesus.
I will not go to the door, but I will open a car door. Reason why I'm not gonna go to your door, I'm gonna be on Rico with that. It's too much damn work. Listen, I'm already picking the place to where we eating. I'm paying for it. I clean my car. I put on my Sunday's best. I did all of that. I'm coming from here to Hellpeck to pick you up. I'm texting you, H-E-R-E, piggybacking off of what Rico said. I am here. I'm giving you the 5 minutes, 10 minutes ahead of time. That's courtesy. So I'm letting you know, but I will not ring your doorbell before I say your father, like a damn rock, and question me, and what are your intentions with my daughter? I don't know. This ain't the 1995. Bro, you should have had that talk with your daughter. You should have done recon on me already. You don't need to ask me no questions. Because you know what? I'm gonna probably lie to you anyway. So you better talk to your daughter anyway. So I will not be ringing the doorbell for Ra to show up and ask me a damn question and give me damn lecture. I'm texting you. I'm here, Sally. Let's go. I'll open your door. That's it.
See,
That's honestly
that's honesty.
expectation. Yeah, that was perfect. Like, completely agree. We here with it. Like, that's my expectation. I'd rather the text, come outside, okay, doors open.
I'm a little indifferent with the situation.
Boy.
I am. Honestly, I don't agree with Oliver saying that it's too much work to go up the stairs and ring the doorbell. That sounds ridiculous.
No. Don't try to switch now.
No,
you
it's
say
not
you
that
fully
it's too
agree.
much work, but I'm saying I wouldn't mind that here and then going out and then
nobody would mind that. But
no, I'm saying,
you don't
like,
care to
honestly,
have
there's
it.
a certain, okay,
Either
look.
you agree with Oliver, you don't.
Thank you.
Look, there's a certain, it's not because it's too much work for him. There's a certain, like, safety factor of, like, my door being open with a man in front of me. Like,
That's too much. You gave me the address.
So why you give him the address?
The door is open, but what happened?
As I was saying, I don't agree with it being too much work because you already put in the work. You said you picked out the restaurant, you got your Sunday's best, you cleaned your car. How much is it to walk up the stairs
ding dong?
and ring the doorbell? I don't agree with that. It's not too much work. If you did all of that already, you could go ring the doorbell.
But
what I do agree with is being scolded by a parent. So see, in my situation, I still live with my parents. I feel like it depends on where you are in your life. I feel like if you are still young enough that you are living with your parents and do have the chance of like meeting their parents and being like, what's your intentions with my daughter? Then that's a no. As a female, I don't even want that because my father is very inquisitive and he will question you the fuck down at the front door.
As he
and
should.
I would not want that for any man that I'm dating.
Let's take a moment. Let's take a fuck. I mean, man, excuse the language, man. Bro. So I made a post. I did a reel about being protected and aligning with men, and the very first person I stated as far as protection and umbrellas of protection is that a woman as a girl should be aligned with her father. Forget the guys for the moment. Because I can roast them to oblivion, but the girls are allowing it. So it's almost like they're almost not worth addressing because the girls are allowing it. The girl just said she doesn't want her father to question her. So here's my problem, women, all of you that want to claim this, no, we're not protected. You circumvent the vetting process of your father. And in how many years are you gonna want him or be in somebody's social media post complaining about the lack of protection? I need that to make sense. I need to understand where that mind comes from in women. She's got obviously her father in her life. I don't get it.
So she lived with him. Live at his house.
Ain't no way in here.
Man, when I first seen the video, my mind was like blown to oblivion. It was like wasn't even there no more. And then I felt a sense of rage. You know, it was infuriating because it's the lack of appreciation for having a father, for having someone that cares enough about you to be inquisitive and ask you questions at the door. Number one, you're a stranger. You're strange. Not only are you a stranger to me, you're a stranger to my home, you're a stranger to my daughter. I don't care how long y'all been talking. This your first time picking her up. You're a stranger. So as a father, to have to be shunned and to have my protection shunned and to give me a limitation on how I operate in my position as a father and as a man in my home is infuriating as hell. Like, you're not gonna tell me to go sit in my easy chair and don't come to the door and meet this nigga that I don't know. Like, I don't care how grown you are, you still my daughter. You in my house, you're still under my protection. This home is under my protection. I need to know what this nigga look like. I need to know what this nigga sound like. I need to know if this nigga can speak. I need to know everything as much as I can in these few moments that I'm going to be talking to him, so that I can be able to detect whether or not this nigga on some BS or if he's genuine. Yeah, he can lie, but at the same
it's not
time,
gonna matter. That it ain't gonna work. It doesn't work.
It's like
our experience will allow us to read
exactly.
that. That's what he doesn't
Exactly.
understand as a young punk.
As a young punk,
he would never be allowed to date my daughter. Either one of them.
Absolutely.
Either one of them. And anybody, in any guy that thinks like that. And you know, I don't know what the future may hold, man, but I tell you what, man, I really do hope that the work that I'm putting in with those two girls will make it so that we're cemented in. And you know, even at this age that they're at, 11 and 13, I talk about this stuff.
Right.
I talk about
Absolutely.
dating issues and things like that, and what type of guy is gonna be this, and what type of trajectory this guy may have, and you know how this is gonna end up with some of the, you know, popular people and stuff like that in high school, just different stuff. And so yeah, that's no, a guy like that, never.
Even hearing him say that his ignorance was unbelievable. You know, the guy, he said that he said that the daughter needs to give her dad the rundown. Understand, she's not equipped to give a rundown about a male the same way a father is. She's just ill-equipped. That's the whole point. But the saddest part is the path of least resistance, because the girl is still willing to come out the door and accept that bullshit. Like, this is why we say what we say. When we put the onus on women and onus on the gender of the female,
we talked about this.
Yeah, we talked about that. That path of least resistance.
I was gonna say this ties in to what we was talking about last time when I was explaining to the ladies that guys are gonna do what they're gonna do.
Right.
And as long as guys can still get that thing, shit, it's whatever it is. And so it's up to the women of the culture to have the standards that the guys then have to meet.
Because we can't circumvent. Like, I don't know why they don't understand that we can't circumvent their standards. We can only go to somebody who's below the standard. And you know what happens? We do that. We'll go to somebody below the standards. And then what happens when we come up? We marry somebody who holds standards. We settle with somebody who holds standards. We give our all to somebody who has standards. Yeah, we'll frolic down here with the Fraggle Rocks and everything below ground. But then soon as we start going, we realize, all right, I'm on a level now. I'm on a level to meet these standards. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to meet the standard. Even if the Fraggle Rocks had standards, we'd have to meet their standard. There has to be a bare minimum. And you would imagine that the bare minimum would be, if you've given me your address and I'm coming to pick you up, that you would at least require of me to come and knock on the door and walk you out and speak to the elders, the adults of the house if you're a teenager. And even if you're just a grown woman, if you're just an adult, I would not, bro, if I text an adult woman that, either A, we've already established that rapport, and she said, "Hey, just shoot me a text once you get here, so I can head on out." That means we established that. Or B, I don't respect you like that. I don't respect you enough to even shoot you that text because I view you as a Fraggle. You're below a certain level. I'm like, shit, I ain't getting out of this car with this, bro. She's gonna come get it one way or another. So shit, text that like who has these girls? My question is, who has them thinking that that's okay?
That's a good question because I want to know too, man.
The dad does
when no, it's definitely not the dad. I think I'm assuming that it's because maybe they feel like they have to play the same game, or use the same playbook that these guys are using. So, for example, just using this as an example, this guy doesn't like coming up to the door. Okay, that's something that I can live with. So, in order to have a guy entertain me, then I can reduce my standard to receiving a text message, and then convince myself it's more convenient to receive a text message than to have him get out the car and come announce himself at the door. I'm just assuming. I'm not a woman. I don't know. I wish I could ask one, but I don't know a woman that'll go for that BS.
I'm telling you, that's why we needed one on here. So okay, so I'll flip it this way: are their peers or are the elder women in their circles circumventing the men? Like it has to be. There has to be a woman in that picture. The mom must be, because
likely
if I say that's the standard and she still goes on that date, my door will be locked when she comes back.
100%.
That door is locked when you come back. All right. So you didn't want me to vet him. You stay with him. You tell him to figure out where you're gonna go for the night because you can't come back into my house. That's what it would be, 100% without a doubt. You leave out that door. I'm not gonna grab you by the neck. I'm not gonna make you do nothing. Go ahead and walk out the door. You'll pay the consequences when you come. The doors will be locked. Don't text and call your mom. She can't save you because if she wants to save you, she got to come outside. And if she come outside, y'all got to go figure it out together. Hard lines in the sand. I don't. And this dude said this ain't back in 1995. That lets me know he probably wasn't even born until he was probably born in 93. Like it's ridiculous.
I think probably born in 2000.
We sound like some old people, bro. Talking about like we sound like some old folks now talking about yesteryear was better and standards were better, but they're like the standards were the standards and they are no longer the standard. And I don't know who's driving it down. I'm going to blame the women for this one, hands down. It just is what it is. If they didn't allow it, it wouldn't be happening.
That's simple math.
Yeah, technology may also play a small role in it. The fact that you can text somebody now just gives you another option instead of having to walk up to the door. But the truth is that most people ain't even giving you the address and stuff like that. But I guess the conversation is when it gets to that point.
Right.
When it gets to that point. Right. I get it. So, okay.
Right.
See, I like when I was dating, I enjoyed the whole experience. Like what he called work, I had to pick out the place. I had to find some clothes. I had to show up in my Sunday best. I had to clean my car. Yada yada. He called that work. That's an experience. That's part of the experience. Right. Like when I had a date lined up, I was excited to go and clean my car. I was excited to go to AutoZone and get the scented tree cherry flavor, and didn't open it up until I pulled up to the house, so that the burst of fresh cherry scent was all over the car.
Right.
And it was more pronounced because the pack was just bust open. And
And you had a playlist. And you had a playlist.
Yeah, had a song set. Even if the song had played on the way over there,
Yeah, you
I turn the song back on and turn the car off right before the song come on. So when I turn the car on, the song would be playing and the mood would begin to be set. Like all that stuff, I enjoyed walking up to the door, knocking on the door, ringing the doorbell, meeting whoever I needed to meet, and escorting her to the car.
And get that up and down look. You see me fresh. You see the fit. You see what I'm rocking. You see all this. Here's the other part of that's fun. I just want to give y'all, and Marcus is gonna laugh about this one. Marcus,
I'm laughing now, but go ahead.
Hold on, Marcus. At one point in time, there was no doubt about this. Marcus used to get on me about it all the time. I did not like Drake. I still don't necessarily like him, but I didn't like him. But as when I was a bachelor and I got back out there, and I heard a few of his, I'm like, okay, that rocks. I can't listen to it. But I'm like, hold on, wait. When I pick somebody up, I gotta have Aubrey playing. And so Aubrey used to be on there, and it was the same thing as if we were younger. If the playbook didn't change, and so when the lazier you get, it's fine to get lazy if you're gonna be, but though that lack of standard, you're going to look like somebody who doesn't uphold a standard, and she's going to look like somebody who doesn't require a standard if she is allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Mark. What you want to say? You bubbling over there. You bubbling.
I mean, I'm just listening. I mean, now y'all do start to sound like the old guys. I ain't even gonna cap, right? Because Sam said talking about how back in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, and he had the cherry blossom and the playlist and all this stuff.
Wait. Listen to Mr. Top Drop Down. Listen to Mr. Top Drop Down in the G. Listen.
Here's the thing. That's all good until you realize that Pookie or Tyrone ain't doing none of that. He got dirty socks, and all he had to do was just call her over real quick, and they got right to it. So while you sitting there cleaning the car, doing all this, so on that note, you know what I'm saying, like,
But you know what? You real. Let me tell y'all one thing, and this I learned when I was in Dallas, when I first got there, hit the dating scene. I would ask key questions before I did too much work. I would just ask key questions. The moment I remember asking a woman one time, "Oh man, we gonna." She was a very attractive woman. She was cool. I said, "Yeah, we're gonna go to this spot right here." Da 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 da. And their dress code is this. And she paused me when I said dress code. And I said, "Yeah, their dress code is kind of like casual. You got to make sure you wear hard shoes if you're a man. Like you can't come in there in sneakers." When I said hard shoes, she was like shoes you wear to church? And I said, yeah, but okay. And so then I said, wait. I said, hold on. Have you ever been I said, you've never been on a hard shoes date? She said, no, I've never really been on a date where I got dressed up. I said, so where have you been? Where have you been taken? Well, the last guy I was seeing, we just pretty much went to his friend's house when they had something going, and his family member's house when they had something going, and that was about it. I said, okay. We went to Razoo's and back to the crib. That was the best I could do. Wasn't no hard shoe date, because you've already shown me that if I raise you to
where you are,
you don't now.
Right,
now
but I guess
you don't qualify for it.
So, so I guess I should have said Pookie and Tyrone and all like that, right? It ain't got to be that type of situation. This could be a classy woman, you know what I'm saying, that just, sneaks around with her ex, or, you know what I'm saying, some kind of, other maybe dustier dude that just blows her back out, you know what I'm saying, type deals. It ain't got to be like the Pookie Ray example per se. But it's just to say that a lot of times in this era where guys have compared notes, and, I don't know, I guess, unless it's a woman that you really, really think that you're trying to wipe up eventually and stuff like that, then you ain't gonna do all that, man. It's just not worth it.
Well, and brother Sam has never been the casual type, so he's not
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I get it. So he's operating on one extreme, and that's a good extreme. That's a good one.
Right.
You know, I've been in that. I done looked her up. I'm like, okay, she looked good, smell, and but I'm like, wait, you never been where? You never done what? Mm-mm. Okay, I'm not gonna be the new experience for you.
See, but what about the ones that have been to these places? And that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the ones that
so you're talking about
expect you to pay this and pay that, and and then, like I say, listen, I used to be the dude to some of these women who, after the date with the dude, they come and holler at me.
Yeah.
So absolutely. I know what I'm saying. Like, trust me.
It's you know what? Unfortunately, so here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. You being able to vet that out about a woman, it's a coin flip. I'm about to say you can't hardly vet that out. Yeah. You can't necessarily vet that out. I mean, because some of the most upstanding, the ones you would never imagine, bro. It's ones that you would never imagine. They live in one part of town. They live in one part of town, in a zip code and in an area where the tax bracket is A, and they've decided that they want to go slumming where the tax bracket is non-existent. It is what it is. Let's not say it's not a thing. I just think that, like you said, if you are into the chick, if you're into the woman, do what you do. But don't just go out doing it for any and everybody just for the sake of doing so, especially when you know what your intentions are.
The 30, I think 2 or so year old lawyer that passed away last year because she was messing with whatever dude. She lived in a nice high rise here in Atlanta in Midtown. And yeah, I think it made national news, but it definitely was on the news down here pretty big. And yeah, she was killed because whatever situations they got into, and he ended up outing her. But he was he wasn't like just a straight like gangster dude, but you know what I'm saying? He was below her, what would have been her standards as a lawyer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, it happens all the time, man. It happens all the time. And so when guys see situations like that, they're like, all right, well, unless I'm really trying to do something with this chick, even if she's a nurse or this or that or whatever, definitely ain't finna be doing all this and all that.
I'm gonna do the minimum and see how that works. I'm gonna start like when it's casual. Listen,
we bargaining.
Yeah,
we bargaining. We ain't. No, sir.
When I have minimal, listen, I can admit this. Whenever I had minimal intentions, I did a base level of whatever, and if it worked, cool. I did not step my game up or whatever. I would just let that ride itself out and say, you know what, I'm not feeling you like that, so it doesn't matter anyway, and I'm gonna go ahead and just continue doing what I'm doing. It's when I see when that one identifies as somebody who I deem worthy of X, Y, and Z, then I'm gonna step up. Now, I will say this: there's something ingrained in me that I'm gonna go to the goddamn door, almost no matter who. But again, bro, if I send you a text message that says "here," HERE, I pull up and I send a "here" text message, bro. I can't tell you what I would think if I'm doing that to a woman. I must think, bro. I gotta think really low. That's a real low level for me to move that way.
I don't think that would even cross my mind to even do that. Because
most women these days, though, they don't want you coming up to the door. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. They don't want you coming up to the door.
A lot don't. No, you're
they
right.
house be dirty or whatever. They don't want you coming up to the door, man.
Or it's a dude in there already. It's a dude in there. It's a dude sitting in there right now. You just taking her on to where you finna take her.
That's crazy. Man. I'm glad I'm married.
It's a dude in there right on the couch.
It ain't a situation. It ain't a situation, you know, especially depending on what demographic you date. If you dating, you know, women in the 20s, 9 times out of 10, you know, they ain't gonna want you necessarily to come up to the door. You know, they rather like meet you outside, stuff like that. If not for anything, for safety reasons and things, but also just for the other reasons I just mentioned. They just might have, you know, they might have a roommate, or they might, you know, they ain't wash the dishes. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. A little different these days is the point.
Now, so there's another one, man, and this is gonna be a subject, and it has a few, and I know Marcus, man, this would have been one that I would have loved for Sheffy to be here for, because boy, you are finna be vindicated. You are finna be vindicated. I mean, and I was with you on some of the stuff, but the facts, actual studies that break down the differences between men and women were conducted. This is a lecture, and it's basically the idea is sexual conflict, right? Not conflict between the sexes, but sexual conflict in human mating. So I'm gonna play the first bit of it, and then I'm gonna ask. I don't even got to ask questions. We're just gonna essentially elaborate or go in off of what this man is breaking down. This is some good shit.
So I'd like you to imagine someone of the opposite sex walking up to you on the street and say, "Hi, I've been noticing you around lately. I find you very attractive." And they ask you one of three questions. Would you go out on a date with me? Would you come back to my apartment with me? Would you have sex with me? So these are actual empirical studies. The first one was done in the state of Florida, and these are the results of that study. Of the women approached by the male Confederate, that's what we call the people who are members of the experimental team Confederates. It doesn't mean someone from the South of the United States. Of the women approached, 56% agreed to go out on the date with the guy, 6% agreed to go back to his apartment, 0% agreed to have sex with him. Women in the sex condition, in fact, thought it was a rather peculiar question. Most women need a little bit more information before they agree to the sex. Of the men approached by the female of the experimenter team, about 50% agreed to go out on a date with her, 69% agreed to go back to her apartment, and 75% agreed to have sex with her. Of the 25% of the men who declined, several were apologetic about it, citing a girlfriend, a fiance, asking for a phone number and a rain check. Very different responses. Now, this talk is about conflict between the sexes, and I'm going to talk about 6 regions in which men and women get into conflict. And the first one is desire for sexual variety. Now, let's imagine that I am king of the universe, and I will give you your magic wish. How many sex partners would you like to have over the next month, over the next 10 years, or in your lifetime? Just get a number in mind. How many would you like to have in your lifetime? Okay, do you have the numbers in mind? Okay, well, here's what we found. Ideal number of sex partners, women said on average they would like to have 7/10 of a sex partner over the next month, gradually escalating to a full sex partner at 6 months and leveling off at about 4 to 5 in the lifespan. Men thought 2 in the next month would be about right, 8 in the next couple years, and 18 in the lifespan. This was after eliminating 3 men in our sample who said they would like 1,000. As we'll see, this desire for sexual variety on men's part is one of the key sources of conflict between the sexes. So I'd like you to...
Now, that's one of them. So, and so that's the first conflict seems to be men's desire for variety, and as opposed to women's. And this is empirically done. This isn't random. This ain't 3 guys on a Facebook Live saying that women don't like to get with as many men based on nature or based on what we think or based on anecdotal experiences. This was a study conducted. This is empirical. This man has paired with other people and they've come to these conclusions. So why is this fought against? Why are there those out there that want to chime in and say, nah, we want to do it just as much with just as many people? Not saying that all women are doing that, but there are those that are.
Because they're masculine as hell. Because they're masculine, masculicia. Okay, they're. It's man. Listen, man. Listen. It's
So you're
damn
saying
near
you're saying that the women that do want, or at least say they want, the same type of variety as men are doing so out of masculinity. Now, are they fronting too? Do you think some are just talking shit and fronting?
I think that to a large extent it may be fear based. So, for instance, there was a young lady I was dealing with, and long story short, she wanted to be able to do this, like, kind of when we're together, we're together, and then when we're not hanging or whatever, she just do her thing or whatever. But it's largely based out of a fear of not being able to have a successful relationship, or not being able to maintain a successful relationship, or just maintain dealing with, dealing with a guy. And so, they it's almost a form of just kind of, I don't know, like self-sabotage. But here's what I've noticed with those type of women, that if they really do find a guy that they really do like, they don't be on that shit. They be complete. They switch it up completely, and want to be in a relationship and want to be monogamous and da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? So it's really about, like, when they're dealing with guys that they don't really like that, and they can't really get with the guys that they really like. Maybe they don't qualify for them or whatever.
They don't qualify. They don't qualify.
Yep.
They don't qualify. That's what it is.
Yep. And so they'll take just D from kind of guys like that, knowing that it ain't gonna be like a actual successful relationship. So
go ahead, Frank.
I think those that say they want it just as much as men do, I see that most of the time amongst single women. And when you're single and not getting it on the regular, then you're talking out of a place of deprivation. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have an abundance of a thing, then the desire to have it isn't as strong as you having a lack of that thing, and you desire to have it. Like, just being married, man. Like, it's always available. You know what I'm saying?
And that's if. Wait, hold on. That's if it's always available. That's a lot of married.
A lot of married
people.
They
look at you like always available. Hell.
I say in theory.
Yeah. Okay.
In theory, it's. I mean, but I'm saying you have access to it.
Right. But hold on.
That's what I mean.
But he's talking variety. So to a degree, the number of partners that a man wants based on those studies isn't even about monogamy. It's about, can he get more than just one? Maybe at a given time, but obviously over a lifetime. You know what I mean?
So here's the thing, right? Guys, listen. We were the winners of a race amongst millions of other versions of us. We were the one sperm cell that impregnated the egg, and we were the version of us that got here. We're meant to be here, okay? And I'll be damned if I was put on this earth and this wonderful thing, this wonderful out-of-world experience called sex and called a vagina, which is literally the thing that we come into this world through. That's how special it is. Okay? I'll be damned if I was put on this earth to just experience 1, 2, or 3. Like, that doesn't even make sense to me. Like, especially, I mean, I ain't saying, but especially if you have something to offer the ladies. You know what I'm saying? And you
Absolutely
get
right.
certain reactions, you know what I'm saying, and things like that. You gotta spread the love, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so like it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, no, like it never
I'm on
made
the
sense to
opposite.
me. Like, why would I want? I'm just gonna experience one.
Why
You know?
are you the opposite? Like listen, I ain't trying to convince you. I just man, like
Okay, so what I realized, cause you know me since we were
yeah,
kids,
since forever, yeah, you're not
and
lying. It's just
what I realized when I look back and I was able to put a stamp on what it was. And I want to clarify, before I was talking about quantity, I wasn't talking about variety.
yeah.
But anyway, I was always more interested in connection.
We was too.
And
It was
Not
just
me.
it just wasn't deep. It was a
Not
different
me.
kind of deep connection. No, wait,
I was
listen.
about to say,
Yeah,
not me.
the connection.
Like, yeah, that physical connection, goddamn. We gonna connect, boy. It's gonna be some connections going on, and then after that, nah, we ain't gotta be connected because I want to go connect with somebody else. I want to feel a little different. It's a little different. It ain't no pussy better than new pussy. It ain't none. It's undefeated. I don't care how good my girl's pussy is. I don't care how good it is. Listen, I done had some good pussy women. But new pussy, and now it ain't always gonna be better. If you got a chick with some good pussy, you're gonna have to take some trials to maybe get to something that's actually better. But
Wait, it ain't no. Listen to what you just said. New pussy is always good. It has nothing to do with it being better. It's
you
just
echoing, my will.
oh shit! How do I do that?
I can hear you. I don't hear echo.
Yeah. Oh, I must get some feedback somewhere. But go ahead, Sam. Go ahead, Frank.
No, what I was saying was,
Oh, that's your echo.
just hold on. You hear me?
Yeah.
All right. What I was saying was, I was more interested in connection. You know, like, because it's the same result at the end. To me.
But
To me,
different.
it is the same every time. No matter
No,
who you with,
But it
is the
feels
same.
different.
No,
But it feels different.
the process is different.
And
The way you get there.
It's always
Nah,
new when it's like new to you. You know what I'm saying? It's always better like when it's new to you.
It was never worth my time. So what was worth my time was establishing and building a genuine connection with somebody, which is why it was easier for me to be monogamous.
You can do both. You can do both. You can establish a
it's too
genuine
much energy.
connection with somebody.
And then, yeah, you can establish a genuine connection with one, and then frolic with five, and then
I'm telling you.
then you let them drop off. You just let them drop off, and
Yeah,
then you got
yeah.
the one. Yeah,
That's a lot of wasted
Look
time.
at this dude. Look at this dude.
That's a lot of wasted time.
So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. If it's just for sexual purposes, you're only gonna put so much time into it. So you're not gonna put a whole lot of extra.
That's when you text here when you go to the door. That's
You know what I'm saying? that you texting the whole time. You ain't even even the flirts.
You don't even hit
flirty
my phone.
texting. You getting them hooked in with texts and stuff. Like
you ain't picking up the phone. Ain't no phone call. Ain't no conversation.
You doing all that, like because if the attraction is already established, and that's why you know what I'm saying you gotta work hard to be a guy that can attract women on a certain level. You know what I'm saying? Because other than that, it's maybe just gonna be money or clout. But you know what I'm saying? If you can have a physical attraction and women, you know what I'm saying, they're physically attracted, then you ain't gotta do that much work. You ain't gotta do that much work. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's there, if you gotta do work, then just move on to the next. Move on to the next. You know what I'm saying? Because you have your main thing. You have your connection.
Yeah.
You ain't got time to be making no other connections. Just physical connections. Like that helps you to maintain the connection with the one you got. Really? It does. It kind of like, it makes you appreciate. Tell me when you ain't done cheating, you don't be wanting to go buy some flowers or something. Like, baby, I just want to let you know.
You gotta make up for what you just did. Internally, you gotta make up for what you just did. Absolutely.
Tell me you don't go home and be like,
I want to know I never cheated.
Listen, I get it.
I try to avoid that.
Hold on,
I don't want to go through that whole process.
I wish I was built like you, but just like there's a variety of different everything in life, just like you guys are 6 whatever and I'm 5 whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's variety, right? So some of us just have, I guess, more, I don't know, libido, or I don't know, man, but I couldn't imagine like what you're saying, like as much as temptation as there is out here, right? And I'm like with one woman, and like I just can't imagine it. Like, just I guess you just gotta at least just try it out. You know what I'm saying? Just to see if you like it.
I do.
Because then if you don't like it, because listen, there's certain cheating I found out I didn't like. I didn't like prostitutes and that type of cheating. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't like paying for cooch. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. I like kind of just having a chick that's attracted to me type cheating. So there's certain types of cheating that, you know what I'm saying, you find out that you like. And that, you know what I'm saying, so, I mean, I get it, man, but I just think there's just so much variety out here, man, and it's just so good to just experience, it's just like food. Why would you want to eat the same hamburger every day? You know what I'm saying?
It's
like,
good.
Yeah, but I still want to go.
I'm familiar with it.
Listen.
I know how it tastes.
I have a go-to hamburger place called the Little Food Store. It's got one of the best hamburgers in Atlanta.
What's it called?
The Little Food Store. I'm living down here now, downtown. So it's basically off of Boulevard on Carroll Street. It's called the Little Food Store. It's been voted, I think one year it was voted like the best hamburger in Atlanta. It is really good.
Little Food Store?
Little Food Store. Yeah,
L-I-L-L-I-T-T-L-E.
the Little Food Store. You Google it.
Right.
It'll come up. It's on Carroll Street. Long story short, and I love it. They got the best burgers. Like, they really do have really good burgers. But every now and again, I'll go to Mixed Up Burger, or I'll go to Fred's Meat and Bread. You know what I'm saying? Or I'll go to, I don't really go to Grindhouse no more, nothing like that. But the point is,
they're straight.
Even amongst burgers, I have my favorite, which is the Little Food Store. But I still want to get a little variety every now and again. Come on, man.
You cheating on Little Food Store with Grindr and these other, you ain't shit, man. You horrible.
Hey, man, Mixed Up Burgers. Mixed Up Burgers right up the street.
You can't even be faithful to a burger. We know you ain't gonna be.
You got it. Variety is the spice of life.
No,
Come on,
I 100% agree. No, I 100% agree. But hold on. So the next thing, now we got to get through a few of these, and like I said, we got time limit tonight. The next sexual conflict is sexual overperception bias. Sexual overperception bias. I'm gonna let him break down what that is, and we're gonna get into that one.
A second is what we call the sexual overperception bias. And the classic example, and this is highly replicated in my lab and other labs, is you show a videotape or photographs or just have people observe a man and a woman interacting. And after a few minutes, the woman smiles at the man. You stop the videotape and ask, why did the woman smile? What was her intention? What was she trying to signal? Men are more likely than women to say, oh, she was sending sexual signals. She wants his body. It's obvious. Women seeing exactly the same film say, no, she was just being friendly. She was being polite. So men have this sexual overperception bias, and it's interesting that in our laboratory studies where we had, it's basically a speed dating paradigm where men and women interact with each other briefly and then evaluate how interested the other person is in them and how interested they are in the other person, that the sexual overperception bias is most likely to occur with women who are physically attractive. And what's interesting about that is because attractive women are hit on more often, they are least likely to reciprocate that sexual attraction. It's also the case we found that men who are high on narcissism are especially prone to the sexual overperception bias. They think they're hot, but they're not.
So essentially, what's happening is what from the video they said basically was they put them in there, they asked them to look at the video. When the woman smiles at a man, they stop the video, they ask the man and the woman, what do y'all see? The men are like, all right, she basically throwing it at him, and the women are like, no, she's just being nice. The interesting part of that, and I'm gonna get you guys take the interesting that specific part is something I've witnessed, and even in workplaces, for example, it used to be customary that a woman could be a woman. She could be friendly and she could be even mildly flirtatious. Older women struggle in the workplace. For example, older women, if you work around older women that are maybe like 50 plus, right? If you and they're southern and charming, I've witnessed them struggle with the way the work environment has changed because men have perceived women's niceties as she's trying to throw me that pussy, or they've perceived the basic things as opportunistic, and then they advanced on women or they've made advances. And I'm talking about I'm talking about what me and you would look at when a southern woman says, "Hey, baby," you don't think nothing of that. But there are men who look and say, "Oh, she called me baby," or a woman that smiles at you every morning when you come through the door. There's a dude that literally thinks, "Oh, she want me," or a woman that touches you when she comes around the corner and just say, "Hey, I want to." Da, da, da. There's dudes that like think, "Oh, she ready for me to knock that shit out." Like it's a thing, and they're saying that in men we have this over perception bias more often than women, and obviously the most attractive women are totally oblivious to it because they don't even put themselves in a situation to reciprocate it. What are y'all guys' thoughts on that? And are you guilty of it?
No. I mean, just because I have a touch of conceitedness that what other people perceive as conceit, I call it confidence. So just in fun, I would over exaggerate an encounter because I'm me. You know what I'm saying? It happened because nigga, I'm me. But that's just me over exaggerating. But honestly, I know, there's nothing there. Or it could be something there, but I'm not that interested to even wonder if there's something there. And I think that a lot of men are morons to the point to where they think that a woman being nice to them means there's another motive or that's a signal that she's giving off. Maybe it's because they've dealt with rejection so much that when a woman is genuinely being pleasant to him, he thinks there's an attraction there that she has for him. What other reason would she be? What other reason would she be nice to me? Because everybody else is treating me like shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's a bit of a loop.
But there's a flip side. He mentioned the narcissist too. The guy that thinks everybody wants him. He's entitled to a degree. So anybody, and he might be on the receiving end of a lot of box. And so most women that are nice to him are sending choosing signals. You know what I'm saying? But that bias exists in that narcissism. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to throw that out there. It's not always the guy that's on the fringe of the dating market that takes things a little too far in their assumptions. You know what I'm saying? It could be the guy that is getting a lot of attention that does choose. I mean, we've seen it play out like that in public spaces.
I mean, that's a fair point. I mean, there's always two ends on the spectrum.
Right.
So that definitely a fair point, but I think it's more of the type that isn't as lucky as that guy that's getting it all.
Yeah, I would think so.
So I would put my money on he just ain't used to it.
Right.
That guy just ain't used to it. Cause
What, what,
you
what,
seen. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. No, I was gonna ask Mark, has he ever been the guy in a moment that presumed based on the woman's action that she was checking for him when she wasn't?
Well, no, actually, I'm the total opposite. So I'm the guy that will miss a choosing signal. Unfortunately, man, I will miss a choosing signal so fast.
So you're oblivious. You're oblivious.
You gotta like be waving it down like with the airplane. Like I need to see the landing strip clearly. Like because other than that, and maybe that's just I don't know exactly what that's attributed to, but I kind of have the opposite. And I understand that. I understand what the study is saying, and in my observations of just general life, I can agree with it. But unfortunately for myself, no. Now if I'm pressing up on somebody and then I see certain choosing signals, then that's not quite in the lane of
that's
being
not
a neutral kind of interaction, just a
right.
a basic interaction or whatever. Now I definitely am 100% almost on the other side of it, just because even the gym, for instance, that I go to, my trainer, he's one of the popular trainers here in Atlanta, and he trains a lot of women, and some of them you see on Instagram and stuff like that, and so you can't be in there like being weird or thinking that everybody trying to holler at you if they say hey, and that's why a lot of these women, like when you first, maybe when y'all might first start working out in that same hour together for the first couple weeks or whatever, you don't hardly get nothing. But then once once they know, okay, we're gonna be here, might as well get familiar, then okay, little smile, little dap up or something like that. But nah, like, and so that environment has trained me to like not see anybody
even more tunnel vision than you
not see
naturally are.
anybody's friendly behavior as flirty. So if you're trying to flirt with me, oh, you're gonna have to flirt with me. Like you ain't no subtleties else. You're not gonna get me. And I'll be with the one that's actually flirting with.
I would say for myself. Am I still echoing?
No.
Okay, good. I would say for myself that I've been in the middle. It depended on where I was in life, right? The busier I am, the less I can even pick up on anything, even if it's supposedly obvious. If I'm sitting back and observing, I can pick up on it a bit more. I remember I was in a relationship, and some guys I worked with made it very clear to me that somebody was checking for me. She was very attractive, like extreme, but she was such a nice person, just nice. Period. Like if you looked at her, sometimes very good looking women, the perception automatically is that she's stuck up, she thinks highly, da 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 da. This is just a regular down to earth nice chick. So if you would have seen her interact with people, you'd be like, oh, she's just a dope chick. Some guys I worked with started peeping some things and started saying, hey, bro, what's going on there? And I'm like, what is y'all talking about? She's just cool people. Month goes by, she's just cool people. Another month goes by, she's just cool people. She had to basically do this, like what Mark is saying. So she eventually was just like
into the vagina.
So I'm tell you what she had to do. She asked for my phone number for something, and then she sent me a text when I was on my way, when I was leaving work. When I was leaving work, it was extremely hot outside, and so she hit me up after I left work. And I said, "Oh, well, I just walked to the train station. Sorry, I'm not at the office or whatever." And her response to that was like, "I bet you all nice and sweaty." At that moment, it dinged, it clicked. The next day, and then she turned it up enough. I didn't say anything. That's when it dinged. I said, let me see what other people are seeing now. Day and a half later, let's go to lunch. She just said, hey, let's go to lunch again. And then it just became clear. She just flat out eventually put it out there that she was interested. But I was so tunnel vision at this particular time with work, with just work, with as a man, sometimes you're on your grind and you're not trying to see anything outside of that space. Plus, I was in a relationship too, and my blinders were on. So I'm in a relationship and I'm on a grind. My blinders are on. Like there's nothing she could have done other than what she actually did to get my attention. I never would have looked at a smile or even the most subtle compliment as her choosing. Like it didn't matter to me one way or the other.
Did you smash?
Yes. Listen.
Right. Just wanted to get to the bottom line.
Listen. Devastating.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely, man.
You know, just you know what I'm saying? I'm not proud of that moment in life, but
hey, listen, man. Listen, man. Listen. Yeah, listen.
It was what it was. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I couldn't have did no better. But I do think there is a discrepancy. I do think men can also kind of. I know we will with our sons. I know we will. But I think men, when it comes to younger men, can kind of at least put a little wisdom into them. That hey, young brother. That's just a nice woman right there. She ain't checking for you like that. Because us passing down little nuggets, I ain't saying we telling men what to do or how to do. Just pass off a little nugget. You can save a young brother from making the wrong move and ending up in a bad situation that he won't be able to necessarily come back from with ease. We know what the Me Too movement has done. You perceive wrong and you act on it, you will it'll break you down. You know what I'm saying? You won't come back.
Different these days.
Absolutely. The third sexual conflict is deception. It's called deception.
A second is what we call the.
Oh, I gotta put that one. The third one is called deception, and let me grab that one real quick. I think we can kind of sort of grab what's going from this one, but it's not as I don't want us to assume what it is. No, man, you good. You ain't in my crib.
Make sure.
Yeah, sexual conflict number 3, deception. I hate to break it to you, men sometimes lie. But they lie in very specific ways. And we've done studies of lying on internet dating sites, which are very common nowadays. Something like 38% of all couples have met on an internet dating site. But men lie in very predictable ways. So, for example, they lie about their height. So they tend to, if they're 5'8", they tend to say they're 6 feet tall. They kind of round up about 2 inches on average. They lie about their income. They lie about their status. Now, women also deceive in internet dating. They tend to shave about 15 pounds off of their weight. And both sexes post photographs that are not truly representative of what they actually look like. That's why you have to meet someone in person to see whether there is actually true sexual chemistry. But when you do, men continue to lie. And one of the things they lie about is the depths of their feelings, the depths of their emotions in order to have sex. So this is bad, but it's especially upsetting to a woman. So if you want to upset a woman, declare that you love her. I really love you. I have deep feelings for you. Now let's have sex. And you have sex, and then after the sex, after he has an orgasm, he says, actually, I was just kidding. I don't love you at all. Goodbye. Well, women in our studies extremely upset by that. On a 7-point scale, they max out. Men who are deceived in that by a woman, not too bothered. So she doesn't love me. I can live with that. Now, some people interpret these findings to mean that, well, women are just more emotional than men, so of course they're going to get upset about everything. But it's not true. That stereotype is inaccurate because men get upset about other sorts of things. It's domain specific. For example, misled him about her willingness to have sex, or led to believe that sex is forthcoming and said no at the last minute, men more upset about that than women.
Now, first of all, men are gonna lie to get the box. Let's be clear. Men, by and large, are going to lie to get the box about their feelings, about their status. Yeah, and they say everybody lies. Everybody gives a false, not everybody, but a lot of men and women both give false representations of what they look like physically. We've seen in this new age of social media, bro, you can't see a picture on a social media or a dating app and assume that's what they look like in person.
Boy, I could tell you some stories in this year.
I can tell you some
in
stories.
this 1 year that I've been single.
Woo! And it's worse now for you.
Facebook dating ain't ish.
and it's worse now for you. I guarantee you, when I jumped in, the filters, there wasn't these kind of filters. It was not this bad. Now, what you can do with a filter now compared to 8 years ago, bro, it's not even fair.
I took a picture with a young lady that we all know, right? And I had took the picture at first, and it looked a certain way. It was just me just taking a picture, just opening my camera, taking the picture. She looked at it. She was like, nah, let me do it. So then she took the picture with her phone and her filter. Man, I'm like, how? What the hell? Like, and so trust me, it is so prevalent. Like, well, I'm gonna say this though about some of the stuff he said, right? Again, this is a place where I veer off from a lot of guys because I'm almost the exact opposite.
Oh yeah.
I don't do deception. I tell you, in fact, I don't tell you how much money I make or anything like that. Even now, I'm a YouTuber. I don't necessarily bring it up right away unless it kind of naturally comes up in the conversation. And so, I mean, I just kind of allow that stuff to come out or to be shown, or for it to just be shown in how I'm living or whatever, to where, you know what I'm saying, it ain't nothing to deceive nobody about.
Right.
And for the most part, I've kind of been like that the whole time, you know what I'm saying? Like, even, like I say, if I'm in a relationship, whatever, I tell the ladies, like, not the one I'm in a relationship with, but the other ladies, like, hey, look, you know what I'm saying? This is just what it's going to be. And it ain't no situation like this. And, maybe some of them would maybe have hopes of trying to steal you away somehow, whatever. But it would never be a situation where I would mislead anybody or anything like that. So guess I'm going against the grain as far as that goes.
No, that's what. Now you ain't never partook in no level of deception, Frank.
Man, no, I ain't have to.
What the hell? Wait, hold on. I need you to think now. Now I'm saying no level, no level. Not as far as feelings, not as far as even feelings. Really?
I didn't. Yeah. No lie. And this ain't me being conceited, and this ain't me over exaggerating. I didn't have to. I never had to, because for one, I didn't pursue it. You know what I mean? So because I wasn't actively pursuing it, then there was no reason for a guard to be raised.
Right.
So in me just genuinely engaging, I assume they just like me. You know what I'm saying? So
he just brought something up. He just brought something up. I realized that I do engage in some type of deception.
I know I have.
It's the deception of acting like I don't really want the pussy. That's the deception, right? Because you can't act like you want it. You got to kind of act like you don't want it, and that's how you end up getting it quick, right? So if there's any level of deception, but I don't know if that's deception or just strategy. You know what I'm saying? It just, you know,
that's more strategy. That's
more strategy. More strategy.
I would say, as far as feelings, I've definitely, now it's been a minute since I've lied about how I felt, but I've definitely lied about feelings, not to get it, but to maintain what I was getting until I didn't want it. And then I would just self-sabotage it when I was done and just move on. So I would consider that me wasting their time, but that was definitely deception. There was definitely a point where I was a time waster, where if I thought you was a certain level, I would not waste your time, because I'm like, you know what, I don't even want that imprint on it. But then on other ones, I'm like, I waste your time. I didn't care. Absolutely.
Are we talking about the level of saying the L word?
No, but I would embellish my feelings. Listen, right. I would say, oh, there's the potential.
Right.
I knew good and goddamn well there wasn't no, but what? You don't have a chance.
There's a potential for me to bust a nut tonight. A really good one too.
There's no chance in that. It's zero chance. But I'm like, oh yeah, I see this going. I see this going veering toward a relationship. No chance.
See, my thing was not leaving a bad taste in somebody's mouth.
Damn.
Because to me,
it's gonna be a taste in your mouth, guys. It's gonna be a taste in your mouth. Depending on what I ate.
Some asparagus.
Especially these days, boy. You don't get that asparagus, boy. Yes, sir. Don't be healthy though. Don't be
high in protein.
High protein and good stuff. Okay. I know you ain't eating your veggies. I know you eating your veggies. So you gonna get some. You gonna get some.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
You give it an OIV, huh?
Hey man. Well, I mean, Sam, I guess my question would be to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I ain't trying to pry all up in your stuff, right? And you don't have to give like an exact number per se, but what level of variety of women kind of have you had? Like, are we talking about less than 10, or are we talking about less than, let's say, 20? You know what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of the way that you feel, I can see where that number might be a lot different from mine. So what would you, if you had to just say the range of where that was, you know, where would you kind of put that?
Less than 10.
Right. So, and see, even on that study, when he put up the 18, I was like, what, in a year? Like maybe 2? You know what I'm saying? Like 18.
Wait. Wait, hold on.
I probably had 18. Honestly,
it's only been 3 for me. It's only been 3.
Lying nigga.
The mothers of my children and my wife. It's only been 3 for me. So I mean, hey.
I get it, man. But I'm single, so I can just say what it is, man.
But hold on, but you know what? See, this also makes sense though. So, because I would say this. And my dad even broke this down to me, and you know, Pop Hill, he's gonna keep it a buck. He made one thing clear. He said, when you're older and you look back and you've had an abundance, it makes it more difficult to see you building this perfect sexual being in your brain with all of this experience you had. Now,
because you ain't the same. So come on now. We ain't saying cap like.
I'm not gonna cap. No, I'm not gonna cap. I'm gonna tell you, based on my experiences, there are some traits. And if I'm honest, where did I pick those? She did this, or she did that. She did that. And it's only been 3, so I mean, I'm not gonna go. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. And so you're like, okay, it's like the Power Rangers. You got the red, the yellow, the green, and when you put them all together,
I disagree,
they make a big old power go. I'm like,
man,
you get all that.
I disagree, man. I disagree. I think that, I mean, I personally don't think that I would ever have that issue. Like, whatever it is once I settle down. You know what I'm saying? But as far as having the variety, I'm not gonna be like, man, I wish I could have that head.
We're gonna revisit this conversation when you settle back down. There's conversations we
I don't know when that's gonna be, man. I
don't give a damn when it is. I don't give a damn when. We're gonna have this conversation again, and I'm gonna ask that question, and you're gonna be like, man, hey, I'm not saying it is or it ain't gonna be.
Depending on where I am in life and what I have going on, I honestly might just have a non-traditional situation where, where the woman is okay with me dibbling dabbling every now and again, and it's not a big deal.
That works.
Because if I place myself in that position, that's gonna be probably what I go for. And I'll be honest with you. I don't know about a lot of 40-year-olds or whatever, but a lot of young ladies in their 20s, that I've dated or had dealings with or whatever, would be willing to accommodate situations like that. They kind of understand, and it's whatever. I mean, especially the ones that are like really, really into you. So, I've had a couple that were really, really into me, and understood that, at the time I was still single and maybe still playing the field or whatever, and they were completely willing to do that to be like official in a relationship. So just all depends.
I think with that, honestly, I think that's a mindset that I don't know if age.
I think they'll grow out of it.
Well, hold on. I would say this. In my experiences, there are women, and I've seen it across the range of age. So I'm talking about to younger to older. They don't necessarily place a premium on this monogamous idea because they don't view men as the same as them. Like they wholly believe that I'm not necessarily concerned with that. I'm concerned with more of this. You know what I'm saying? They're like, that's gonna be that, this is gonna be this. And I sat down and had conversations with married women that are off and believe that, and they don't step out because they said, I got this over here, and I have and what he does over there, I'm okay with it as long as it doesn't ever interfere with what's going over here. There's a lot of women that have those conversations. They in my inbox. If you watching, we've had these conversations, and they don't publicly shout it from the rooftop. Oh man, I just looked the other way, or I'm just okay with the understandings. That's not the way they go about it. But they just live and think a certain way to where it's like it's not that big a deal. They do exist. There's no doubt about it. They exist. I would say in abundance, but I can't say how abundant.
No, I mean it's not surprising that they exist. I mean it's really just weighing the pros and the cons. If you have more pros in the situation, then you feel like you can deal with the cons, and the cons are not that big of a deal. Like, why would I get rid of all these pros just because of this cons? It's because a standard that's not gonna yield the same pros that I'm giving now. So what's the point? I mean, I get that, but it's just it's a lot of swamp water to navigate through, to me, as far as dibbling and dabbling. And I sound old too. I said dibbling and dabbling. In different pots. You know what I mean?
Just cherry pick. Just gotta cherry pick, man. It's all about cherry picking. Like when you have the one you have, you don't have to like go after everyone and everything and everyone. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's just you might notice situation over here might be able to fit, this situation might work, or you know what I'm saying, and if everything lines up and woo doo woo, and so it ain't like you just out there just every day, like, all right, I got my ticket home now. I'm just out here slanging D, like it ain't like that. But eventually you might come across a situation that fits, and she's attracted to you and might be attracted to her. You know what I'm saying? It's like if everything lines up. And so, just to put a little context to it, it ain't like you just out there just really just hunting per se. You do love the woman that you with, you know what I'm saying? Everything, all that stuff is real. But if a situation, if you're traveling for work or something and you getting chose, chose up on or whatever, hey.
So I want to ask a question, Mark, because this one of the things that that confuses me. Not about you, I'm just saying in general, but I'm just asking you.
Go ahead.
So I can understand if you have an understanding with the main woman, and she's like, just go ahead about your business or whatever. These are the rules, these regulations, whatever. This is what we need to abide by, and then we make an agreement that you can do this thing. But most women ain't like that. So 9 times out of 10, you'll have a woman that you have to keep in the dark about what you're doing on the side. So my question is what you're doing on the side worth what it's gonna do to her if it gets back to her? Is it worth it?
Okay. Is it worth it? See, here's the thing, right? I'm gonna be honest with you.
I'm gonna be honest too, because I'm gonna answer that one too.
Okay. Yes, it's worth it, man. Just because here's the thing, right? Listen, this is nature. This is nature, man. This is how men are designed versus how women are designed. You saw it on the study. Okay, men want 4 times as many partners as women do on average. Now, if you take into account guys like, like potentially like Manuel, guys like myself who have maybe we're on the higher end of the libido status and, all like that, and just also maybe have options because guys are as faithful as their options, right? And so, I mean, if you have options and if you have this high libido, then yes, it's worth it because you only have this one life to live, man. And so, how many times you gonna tell yourself no to some stuff, man? Like,
wait. We got
as often as possible.
We got somebody saying women just as sexual or more than men.
She must have missed the first part of the.
She definitely she's missing what we're saying, and I'll run that back if need be. Doris Lopez studies show it's not sexual, it's sexual variety. It's sexual variety. Studies show that men want more variety in their lifetimes than women. Go back into the live, go back about 5-10 minutes into the beginning and look at sexual variety. Men, it's been studies show this. So we're not making this up. We just also have experiences and desires that line up with what the studies show.
Yeah, so Sam, ultimately, man, yeah, like, listen, you don't want your woman to find out. So of course it's not like you're setting out to hurt her or anything like that. You want to cheat respectfully. So you want to cheat, protected most of the time. You want to, definitely not bring home any diseases, any babies, or anything like that. And you want to make sure that it ain't just, out and about in the atmosphere that she's going to be embarrassed or anything like that. So there's certain ways to do it to where, you don't have these type of embarrassments or any type of outside situations affecting what's going on in your household. But you as a man may want to experience different sex. She may want to hear a different moan. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the way that she moaned the first time y'all did it versus the way that she moaned 15 years in or 20 years in, it's a little bit different, maybe. You know what I'm saying? And maybe hearing that new chick moan, it just give you a little more, a little song, man. She just kind of, like that. So, just a little variety, man. Like, and you do it in a way that is not meant to harm anybody, but it really is. Listen. In almost every stage of life that I've gone through, I've proven to be what they call the cream. Okay, so I'm, almost in everything that I do. I'm not trying to brag or anything, and I'm not like super rich or nothing like that. Okay, but I am in certain top levels as far as income goes, as far as just different stuff, man. And so, hey, the top guys in every generation are going to have a little more, when it comes to sex and stuff like that. The nobles of the towns back in the day, back in Europe and stuff like that, some of the towns, the noblemen would have sex with the new bride before the husband does. That was his right as the nobleman.
He talking about prima nocta. That's horrible. That's horrible.
And so the point is that the top guys are always going to. It's how nature is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's meant for us to have more and experience a little more. You know what I'm saying? I would almost feel like I'm cheating myself. Seriously, I would almost feel like I'm cheating myself if I didn't allow myself to have some of these experiences.
I think at some point in your life, if you have the desire to have those experiences and your life affords you to, whether you're in a relationship or not, you need I would say a playboy mode, a mode where you're only beholden to what you want to do as much as you can be, because it's not always going to be, you're never going to, if you have children, for example, you'll never have a point in life where it's all about you. But you can have small moments where your concentration is on, I'm going to do me, and I'm going to do as much as I can and enjoy it. And those spoils might be, hey, at this phase of my life, I ain't settling down with nobody, and I'm keeping it 100 with them, or maybe I ain't, and I'm just gonna run through. I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do. And whereas in marriage, if a man is going to go down that path, I'm gonna answer Frank's question when he asked, is what you're doing worth what it's gonna do to that woman if she finds out? I would say no, it's not, because in that moment, it absolutely won't be. In that moment, especially if you value that woman on a certain level, it absolutely won't be. The only thing you can do before you decide to go down that path as a man, you have to have been at least forward thinking enough to say, okay, worst case scenario, the very worst case scenario, what is that? And you probably need to say it out loud to yourself. And then you did so in any case, does the extreme happen most of the time? No. The extreme on either end doesn't happen. What happens is the law of averages is what gets you as a man. So the law of averages, if you go down that path and you continue, we got somebody joining in with us. We got a lady joining in with us. But if you go down that path, the law of averages will catch you. Hold on one second. I'm gonna allow Doris Lopez to join in us.
You just said big facts on that.
Doris Lopez, get on in here. Let me see if she's showing up on screen. There we go.
Yeah, I think I'm good. I think I'm on, right? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. What's happening, Ms. Lopez?
Okay, cool. I saw Manuel's and I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, Manuel's
that's it.
post that he said they needed more ladies. Let me jump on. Let me hear what y'all are talking about.
Okay, so
I know all I had was lies because women are men. At some point you were talking about how Men are 4 times more sexual than men. Listen, I just spent 6
Wait, hold
hours
on.
with one of my best friends, my
real quick,
brother.
we're gonna correct you so that you got the right context. So it's not as sexual.
Okay, correct me.
It's meaning that we want 4 times as much variety, meaning that different sexual partners. So women, for instance, some women may want to have a lot of sex or whatever, but that's kind of the partner that they have. So that's a little bit different. So men want variety. Men want variety on average a lot more than women do.
That was the context of that number where men want more, and it's not it's not debatable. men want more partners in their life.
I mean, I would say
no, you're right. You're right.
Now, so what we're talking about now?
You're right.
So what we're talking about now is deception, but we finna jump to the next sexual conflict. And so the next sexual conflict is mate value discrepancies. Mate value discrepancies. I'm going to go ahead and play that clip and let you guys give me some feedback.
Sexual conflict number 4, mate value discrepancies. Mate value, you have to distinguish between short-term mate value and long-term mate value. Long-term mate value, it consists of a large number of qualities. So it's not just physical attractiveness, it's also the esteem in which other people hold you, your status, your reputation, your personality, your level of intelligence, your health, and even your sense of humor. Humor turns out to be a very important quality, although not everybody believes it. The comedian Jim McFarland said, one of the things women claim is important in a man is a sense of humor. In my years as a comedian, I've learned that they're usually referring to the humor of guys like Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, and Russell Crowe. Apparently, those guys are hilarious. But humor is important. Humor actually does convey a wealth of information about someone's verbal skills, their level of intelligence, their social skills, and even perspective taking. It requires a certain level of mind reading to get people to laugh. Now, back to the mate value discrepancies. How do mate value discrepancies cause conflict? Well, it's illustrated by a female colleague of mine who was complaining to me one day. She said, David, why is it that all the guys that I'm interested in don't seem to show any interest in me, yet I'm pursued by all these guys who are trying to chat me up, and I have no interest in them?
Here it goes.
And what I told her is, I was brutally honest, I said, on the mating market, you are an 8, seeking 10s and being lusted after by 6s. And she said that this single piece of information, when she thought about it, was more important to her, was more helpful to her than 3 years of psychotherapy to figure out what the problem was. She was going for guys who were too high in mate value. Now, the problem with going for people who are too high in mate value, and this applies to both men and women, is even if you succeed, if you're an 8 and you succeed in attracting a 9 or a 10 into a long-term relationship, they are more likely to leave you when someone better comes along, statistically, and also they're more likely to be sexually unfaithful to you.
So if you end up with somebody who's on a higher level than you, they are more likely to cheat on you. Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. If that woman can do better, she's gonna do better. And if that man can do better, he's gonna do better. I mean, and fidelity be damned. Give us your thought, Doris.
And I just have to say, I have Marcus's thought because I just. Marcus, I got me.
I was drinking tea at first, but now it's a little bit of wine.
But you're right, though.
So would you say that would apply to you? If you're with somebody and you know you can do better, are you going to leave for better, or are you going to play with better? Which one? You got to choose one.
All right. So as a woman, I purposely have gotten 2 divorces because I felt like being in the relationship, what we look for in a marriage, support, teamwork, synergy was not there. And I felt like if I was going to have to work so hard, then I was not going to settle. So I exited both marriages because I knew I could do better. If I'm doing this and I'm the go-getter and I'm the moving forward. And in life, I learned that when you come from a certain background, and so I'll give you a little bit of my background. I'm a Hispanic woman, right? Raised by a mother. My father was not around. So I didn't really know how to pick a guy. So when you don't have a role model, right, of what you should look for, you don't know better, right? And so I always looked for someone that I felt I could be a team member with and create something. But after several years of seeing there's no reciprocity in that, and there's no synergy, and only one person's carrying the torch, well, then if I'm going to be doing all of this work by myself, I might as well be by myself, right? And so now at this point in talking about what you're saying, if I feel like I could do better when I leave, I have it. So I didn't cheat, but I did get a divorce, two divorces.
Now, did you upgrade? Oh, so okay, after the first divorce, did you upgrade?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. And so with the second divorce, are you remarried again?
First of all, what age did the second divorce occur?
So let's see. I remarried at 32 and I divorced at 39.
Post-war.
Now 50. Huh?
So have you had success?
I'm sorry. Let me back up. I divorced at 27 and remarried at 32. My first divorce, I was 27.
Right. So
I remarried at 32. I divorced. My second divorce was at 39. I just turned 50 in December. And I have been divorced since I was 34.
You mean you've been divorced since you were 39?
39, since I was 39. I'm sorry.
Right,
since I was 39.
right.
I've been divorced for 11 years.
And so the question is, have you upgraded?
The second time around.
The second, I did.
No,
I certainly did.
Since 39 years old, have you upgraded?
Yes, I am currently dating someone that is truly amazing. Now, would I marry? That's to be seen.
Well, okay, wait. Hold on.
Do you have
I'll tell you why. So I just had this conversation.
You don't make that determination.
If I want to remarry.
So do you have the option? Is he trying to marry you?
Absolutely.
How long y'all been dating?
For 6 months, but we have known each other for 4 years.
How long do you think he gonna wait for you to make up your mind?
Well, I mean, that's if he's trying to actually marry. Has he's indicated that he wants to marry you? Has he taken you engagement ring shopping, anything like that?
I'm a broker for diamonds, so I can get anything. And we've looked at some stuff, but I'll tell you what, I think that this is again a conversation because one of my best friends is a guy, and we've had this. He's been married for 20 years, and literally today, right before I jumped on this, we're hanging out, his wife, and one of the things that we discussed, definitely being now me 50, right, and being in the middle of raising my children. It used to be that my first marriage, and I can only speak for myself because I cannot speak for every woman under the sun, but I can speak to to the women that have been raised traditionally in our Hispanic and Black community, because we're very similar in some ways, right? My children are Black. Both my husbands are Black. And I can say this. I married at 19 into the ministry. My husband and I were pastors for almost our entire marriage. And we married. I come straight from Mexico, so not Americanized. I didn't know the American culture. So in Mexico, you marry, you stay married, come hail or high water, right? That's just the way it is. So I'm very much that way. You're focused. You're married to your husband, and it doesn't matter what is going on. You stay married till death do you part, literally, right? So I did get a divorce, which was very hard. Being Mexican and being in the ministry was extremely difficult because I got it from everywhere. But I realized that if I stayed in a marriage that was not loving and was not creating an environment that I wanted my daughters and my children to be raised in, if it was something that I didn't want children, why is it okay for me to stay in? Because at this point I had 2 daughters, right? And I thought, do I want my daughters to have this kind of relationship, right? And so I didn't. So I felt for myself and my children that it was better for me to raise my children on my own.
What grounds did you divorce him on? Irreconcilable differences?
No. We were actually marriage counselors, and my husband was cheating with everyone under the sun that we counseled. I didn't know till I filed for my divorce, and our elders let me know that I was right.
So then why'd you file for the divorce?
Because this is the thing. As a Mexican woman, I was married, but my husband never worked. So I was the
both of y'all was pastors.
We were pastors, but I was the only one getting bread to the house. So
this was
when I decided that there was no income coming in, and this was my thing. As a parent, I felt like if I'm working full time, and you're constantly, wanting me to be the submissive wife, and the husband provides, but the husband never works, and as pastors, you're using the word as a tool or as a weapon, but you never provided, and I'm the sole provider. Then I truly felt like I was rebelling against the church by getting a divorce.
Who was he counseling?
Exactly. Married women. Little did I know, though. Listen, I was 19 and I was married to I was a young Mexican girl that barely understood English. Okay, so let me tell you, I didn't know English when I came here.
Hold on. So let's skip past the first marriage, because 19 years old, I'm not gonna. I can't hold you.
27, you're a baby. You're a kid.
Okay, but then you got remarried at 32. So what happened with that one?
You
wasn't a baby.
No. I actually had a couple businesses at the time, and fell in love with this amazing guy. He was great. We were married, living together for a total of 5 years. That's the time that we made all of our babies. But I was very naive still. And I did not know that he, besides his job, had an extra side thing he was doing that was not very kosher, and it was dangerous. So I had to move and leave. And so for the sake of my kids, I had to get a divorce.
Hold on. So because I want to kind of get to something, because I'm trying to. So obviously your man picker it was off.
Like I said in the beginning, right? When you said who I was dating, I ruined the church, picked better.
But herein lies the issue, right? At the age you are now, the
50.
guy
I just turned 50 last month.
And you say the guy that you're with now, he's talking marriage, he's putting in work. How much time do you think he's going to stay in that space? Do you think you have a year to make up your mind? Another 6 months? Like, what do you really think is real? Reasonable?
What I
Yeah.
think is real. I think that we're both. He's 43, I'm 50, and we have been friends for a long time. And I think that, like we have spoken and I have shared, I don't know that actually being married necessary. Would I love to be married? Yes, I would.
Who got the bag? Who got the bag? Back up. Who got the bag? Who got the bag?
I do.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay.
Do you see the house?
No,
Do you see the office?
no, hold on. Don't brag. Hold on, calm down. He's 43, you 50. He got you got the bag, and he's talking marriage.
But let me back up. Hold on. No, let me stop you there. Let me rectify. He does well. He does well. I do have several businesses that I run, and I am busy. So because we have been friends for this long, I will say that. I'm sorry. Say that again. I didn't hear you.
I said, sound like he been grooming you, like putting in like work as the friend. And
no, because
he been grooming him, bro. You got it backwards. You keep framing it wrong. You keep framing it. You keep framing it. My Will's framing it wrong. Go ahead. I want to hear.
I think he's going for the bag, but go ahead. I think he's going for the bag.
That part you got right, but go ahead. Did she get frozen?
I think froze up a little bit. Yeah, she got it's red.
You done froze, Doris.
I think Doris. I think he's going for the bag. So I think he's putting in, because look, man, 43. If she says better,
43 does well,
but she's doing better. But if she's doing better and she's on several,
what does well mean? See, that's what I'm saying. I was gonna keep listening, but I was gonna ask some more questions, man. Because man, like, I mean, listen. I'm in that age range. Okay, I'm gonna be 40 in June, and I mean, listen. I don't think I'm gonna be dating no 50-year-old. Not if I'm doing well. If I need her money, hey.
And that's what I'm kind of listen. And that's why I'm like, who's got the bag? Here she go. I think she just got back in.
If I need her money,
no, it's still. Yeah, she got a little struggle stream. I'm gonna put her to the side right there. But the thing that particular conflict was interesting is those mating value discrepancies. It irons out something very particular. Here she goes. She's back. There we go. We lost you for a second there. You back?
She done made Frank leave.
Nah, his thing just did something.
All right, we got Doris back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, I can hear you now. So Doris, it's kind of suspect. Like the story kind of seems a little. Damn it, she just dropped again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I think she's back. We got a little struggle stream going on here. Yeah, hers is going in and out.
Got to get that Wi-Fi together.
Yeah, I'm with you, Mark. We seeing this eye to eye. This seems like a situation where
you hear me?
This guy, he might be down and out.
You got me back?
He might be a little down and out. And
100%. Listen. Because again,
because I'm the same way. I'm thinking the same way.
If I'm doing well, if I'm in good shape, if I'm this amazing guy, come on now. I got options, man. I might play around with a 50-year-old.
That's why you said what's doing well. Like give me the number. Give me
she may say doing well. you know, he just may be doing, you know, average or whatever.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the
yeah,
average guy, I can see an average guy going after, you know, a little bag real quick or whatever. But yeah, like, you know, what she doesn't want to say is that, you know, when she made that decision to divorce post Wall, she probably hasn't seen a whole lot of great dating, you know, prospects since then. As evidenced by, you know, having, you know, the friend for 4 years and then you
Which
start
brings
dating
us
them.
to sexual conflict number 5,
All right,
infidelity.
so we finna get into sexual conflict number 5.
Infidelity. Ooh,
Infidelity. And you know what? It's good that everybody. It's good that the goody two shoe is gone because we get to rip this one. Look, we get to go here.
Which brings us to sexual conflict number 5, infidelity. Now, from a male's perspective, from an evolutionary perspective, it's fairly straightforward why men would be tempted to have affairs. How many people have affairs? I won't ask you to raise your hands on this one. But studies point to about 40 to 50% of married men have an affair at some point during the course of their marriage, and it's about 20 to 30% of women. Women are actually catching up with men. So not everybody has affairs, but a substantial number of people, substantial minority do. And it's fairly clear why men do. Studies of motivations for infidelity for men involve, they say, sexual variety. The woman was there. The opportunity presented itself. I wanted to have sex. Women, it's more complicated. Now, for women, my evolutionary colleagues, other scientists who study this, have advanced what's called the dual mating strategy hypothesis or the good genes hypothesis, where they basically propose that women can get the best of both worlds by getting investment and resources from one man and good genes, like genes for good health, from another man. But I think there's reason to be skeptical about this. One of the reasons is that we know from DNA fingerprinting technology that only 2 to 3% of offspring are actually fathered by men who are other than the person believed to be the father, the husband, or the regular mate. So what that means is that most women are getting genes and investment from the same guy. So that raises the puzzle, why do women have affairs? And this is something that my lab has studied, and I think there are some important clues. Okay, one is that women who have affairs tend to be sexually and emotionally unhappy with their regular relationship. And you may be thinking, as I would be, well, that's totally obvious. Okay, women who are unhappy with their relationship are going to be more likely to have affairs. But it turns out it's not true for men. If you compare men who have affairs with men who don't have affairs, there is no difference in their marital happiness. But there is a huge difference for women. Clue number 2, 70% of women who become emotionally involved with their affair partners or fall in love with their affair partners. Now, if you're just trying to get good genes, this seems like a very bad strategy. Why get emotionally involved or fall in love? And the third clue is that the qualities desired in a affair partner turn out to be more or less identical to the qualities desired in a long-term mate. And so what I think this does, this set of clues combined with other evidence, points to the mate switching hypothesis, which I think is a more compelling hypothesis about why women have affairs. So in our lab, we've also documented that women tend to cultivate what we call backup mates. One woman told me, she said, men are like soup. You always want to have some on the back burner, okay, in case something goes wrong with your relationship. Of course, some of this information might be disturbing to the males in the audience. It might be disturbing to realize that your partner is cultivating surreptitiously backup mates, that they have fantasies, sexual fantasies about people other than you, and that maybe perhaps someone who's just a friend, oh, he's just a friend. Or that maybe you're more replaceable than you realize.
They say he's just a friend.
Man, what?
And they say he's just a
Man,
friend.
listen,
Oh,
listen.
baby, you.
Let me tell you how appropriate this is. Let me tell you how appropriate this is.
Bro.
I just did an interview that I posted this weekend, and it was of a young lady. Now, this young lady wasn't homeless. She was just a college student at Georgia State. Long story short, she basically gave her Instagram to this other guy that I was interviewing. And so I asked her, like, you know, and and it turns out she had a boyfriend. So I was like, well, what is your boyfriend gonna think about you giving this guy your Instagram? And she was like, oh yeah, it's no problem. You know, we have trust in our relationship and da. And so, you know, a lot of people in the comments was like, well, yeah, this generation is different. You're just old and da. And I didn't respond or reply like I never do, but here's the bottom line, man. That young guy's gonna come to find out one day, or he may come to find out one day. It's not guaranteed, but he may come to find out one day that the very people that she had in her Instagram is one of those guys that end up, you know what I'm saying, smashing somewhere on down the road. And so it's called orbiters.
I knew you was gonna hit the word.
So
The male orbiters.
women have these male orbiters, and they keep them around, and so that, you know, if things go left or whatever, trust and believe that one of those guys is the next up to bat.
Go, you sound off a little bit now. We can go this way because I can speak on that from experience. Being on the other side of that. Somebody's echoing.
I think she's listening to it on YouTube or Facebook.
Yeah, Doris, if that's you. You gotta probably turn it down somewhere. But
can you just mute her? You can probably
mute her. Yeah, I'll just mute her real quick until she's talking. But yeah, I'll comment on that just a bit. Those male orbiters, those guys that are in that space, I'm not saying every guy that's in that space is the guy or even the potential guy. But when those numbers are more than a few, it starts to get the law of averages. If she's got a bunch of dude friends, the law of averages, it's definitely more than likely that some, one at minimal, but definitely some of those guys are guys on the burner. Those are them backup dudes. And I can say this because I've been one of those guys in that sphere that I thought everything was all good over there. Oh, well, come on over here and talk about it. Come on. Oh. You know what I'm saying? Come on, lady. Come on, lady. Oh man,
come lay your burdens down.
Come lay your burden down, girl. I'll listen.
That's a fact, man.
Hurry up and get that shit out the way, though. Hurry up.
Hey,
pouring up a drink.
Real quick, that song "Comforter" from Shy. You remember that? You remember the lyrics to that?
Absolutely.
It's the reason why. It's the reason why it was written. That nigga was an orbiter.
Yeah. Absolutely. Doris, can you admit to some of that? Do you keep male orbiters? Have you kept some male orbiters around? Can you admit to some of that? Do you keep male orbiters?
No.
Oh,
so unmute me. Unmute it. Can you unmute it?
No, you're not muted.
I unmuted it. Yeah, I got you. I can hear you.
So unmute me.
She's on a bad delay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, you can hear me. Okay. So I did. Can you hear me? Okay. So I will tell you when I did. I did about 8 years ago. I've been single for 11 years. I did about 8 years ago. And I on purpose have stayed single for so long. At this point, I've had 2 relationships in the last 6 years. And I don't know if you can hear me. Okay, here we go.
Yeah,
we can hear you.
I think I can hear you now. So I've had 2 relationships in the last 6 years. Okay, I've had 2 relationships in the last 6 years. One 3 years ago and the other one just recently. For the last 2, I did let the orbit guys know, like, I'm not going to talk to you. You know, this is because I want something different. Because this is the thing. When you mature, When you grow, you heal, and you mature, you understand that if you want something different, you have to be different. You have to do different. And so in
So you're
that
saying in your marriages you did have those orbiters?
focus of being different. No, not when I was married. And I can say that truthfully.
So then what was different?
No.
So then what was different? You said that
Well, I mean, I was single because remember, I'm single now for 11 years.
Oh, so you're saying
Right?
when you're single,
I've been single now for 11 years.
So when you're single and dating, you had them around, but when you got into a relationship, you cut them off.
Yeah, like yes, because you're dating, right? But when you decide, but this is the thing, and I think that, you know, I am called a lot because I've shared a lot of Kevin Samuels things on my page. I'm constantly called, oh, you know what, you side with the men,
pick me.
You don't think that women should,
they call you,
I'm constantly judged by women telling me, you know, you think like a guy, you side with the guys. It's not that I side with the guys, is that just me, I'm not talking for any other woman because I cannot speak for any other woman, this one, right? I think that if you are going to commit to someone, then you commit to someone. And if you don't want to commit to anyone, then don't. Then be single, date, do whatever you want, but make sure that the person that you're talking to knows that you're not ready to commit. Because it is unfair and it is very hurtful to string someone along knowing that you want nothing with that person.
But so you don't keep nobody background in case
who is sowing seeds in this journey, and I have daughters.
So you don't keep nobody on the background in case this guy's messing up.
Hey, Manuel, I told you I got to drop, man.
All right, bro.
All right. Hey, listen, peace out, y'all. All right.
I don't.
All right, man.
Manuel, I told you.
All right, bro.
All right. Hey, listen, peace out, y'all. All right.
Bye.
Got that one out of there.
All right. Hey, listen, peace out, y'all. All right.
So, oh shit, I didn't mean to remove Frank. Hold on.
So no, I don't. Can you hear me?
Like, yeah. So you're saying you don't have male orbiters around. You don't keep men around that aren't supposed to be around.
No, for what? What's the point? What are you going to do?
Because if things go bad,
this is the thing
to fall back on.
This is the problem. Really?
Yeah.
No, you don't need none. Listen to me. Listen. This is chuck it up to my culture, way of thinking, whatever you like. If I'm dating you, right? And I introduce you to my friend, guess what? This is my friend. This is not a dude I sleep with. This is not the guy that is in the back burner. That is not who that is. That's my friend. Because of the day, this is the reality of life, right? In life, you reap what you sow. So if I want to sow a solid relationship in my life, I have to do whatever I can to do that. Now, what you do is none of my business because I can only speak for me, right? So I'm not interested in saying, you know what, I'd love to date you, but let me keep these 2-3 dudes on the back burner. Let me call them. Let me see. Let me holler at you. What you doing? Let me come into town. You can come into town. For what? Then what I want to do with you is fake because I really don't want to build with you. I just want to hang with you. And in years, I do single very well. If I just want to chill and hang, I can do that without lying to you. So someone in the back burner when I'm telling you I want to build something with you. It's a waste of my time because this is the thing. Building a company, if I was building a company, right? In business that I'm successful, there's no way I'm going to build a company with you and then have two other companies in the back burner saying, well, if this doesn't work, let me work a little bit on this one just in case this one doesn't work. Then this is going to fail for sure. Right? So why set yourself up for failure? If you want this, you want this. And you know what? I am black or white. I'm in or out. Most people are not like that. You know, hot or cold. You're in or you're out.
I agree
That's
wholeheartedly.
why I don't last in the bullshit.
I think.
You know
go
what I'm
ahead, go ahead, Frank. Weigh in on that because I mean, you definitely not saying nothing wrong. Go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, no, I'm saying no. I definitely agree with Ms. Lopez, man. Because
you can call me Doris. We good. You can call me Doris.
All right, Doris. So reason being is along the line of the same thing she was just saying is that you can't feed everything equally. And when something is not being completely fed, then it's gonna start to dissolve. You know what I'm saying? If it's not being completely nurtured, it's gonna start to it's gonna starve. Something's gonna starve somewhere. So it's like playing the game, playing with multiples is like what's that old saying? A jack of all trades, but a master of none.
Right.
Same concept.
Right.
It's like, so what's the point? And that's what I was saying earlier, that it got to be worth my time. So if it's not worth my time, then I'm not gonna invest a smidgen of my time into it. At what cost? So I would rather maintain this one that I got and continue to build with that one rather than trying to fulfill some type of desire I feel like I may be lacking. Like no one is gonna give you everything that you want. But if you're getting most of what you want, why would you risk losing most of what you want for the little that you don't have? You know what I'm saying? So it's the pros and cons concept. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm happy with the 85 or 95% that I'm getting. I'm cool with that. I'm content with that. I can do without the other 5 or the other 15. I ain't missing nothing in comparison to what I already have.
Right.
But,
and I'm going to tell you this.
What I want to do, you got a delay over there, Doris. What I want to do though, real quick, is go into the sixth conflict. This is the last conflict. And I don't even think I heard what this conflict was. I heard a bunch of them before, but I don't think I heard this one. The sixth sexual conflict is breaking up. That's the sixth one.
Which brings us to the last sexual conflict, breaking up. Now, Reka asked you if you've ever experienced a romantic breakup. Studies show that about 85% of all people have experienced at least one romantic breakup. It's a very, very common thing. It is rare to meet the one and only when you're 18 years old and then live in happily ever after monogamous bliss for the next 50 years. It happens sometimes, but it's rare. People engage in what I call serial mating with one person. I don't mean Cheerios or Wheaties or anything. Meeting with one person, breaking up, mating with another person for a while, and some people get better at it with time. Now, breaking up involves a lot of conflict, and it's one of the most heart-wrenching heart-wrenching phenomena that people go through. I mean, people get depressed, they start drinking, they start abusing drugs, they go into depressions, et cetera. It's a very intense, emotionally laden thing, even if you're doing the dumping. Okay, it's worse if you get dumped, but it's even bad for the person doing the dumping. And it results in conflicts over sexual access. Does sex continue after the breakup? And sometimes it does for a period. There's an oscillation. Conflict over division of pooled resources. So couples often pool their resources. I know one couple that got into a bitter divorce over who would get the dog. And of course, there are financial resources. And there's sometimes conflict over remating. And this is one of the darker aspects of work from my lab. I've studied victims of stalking. But we've looked at about 2,500 victims of stalking, and it turns out it's a fairly common strategy post-breakup. Often starts as the relationship is starting to fall apart. People cyber stalk their partners, they hack into their cell phones, they trace them on Facebook, et cetera, and sometimes physically follow them. And men, of course, are more likely to stalk. So about 80% of the stalkers are men. Men who are high on what we call the dark triad are especially prone to stalking. That is, men who are highly narcissistic, they feel a sense of entitlement. Men who are Machiavellian, that is, use an interpersonally exploitative, manipulative strategy in their social interactions. And men who are high on what's called psychopathy, which basically involves, one of the hallmarks is a lack of empathy. So you basically get a cold, calculating, narcissistic, self-entitled guy, statistically more likely to stalk. Disturbingly, stalking sometimes works. In our study, 15% of the victims of stalking ended up getting back together with their ex, either temporarily for sexual interactions or more permanently. One woman told us that her ex-boyfriend would threaten any guy who came around, and after 6 months, she said she went back to her ex-boyfriend because there were no other guys around. So I think that there are three pieces of information that I hope might be useful for you in your own mating lives. One has to do with if you're ever a victim of stalking. If you're ever a victim of stalking, do not be friendly to your stalker, and especially don't smile at your stalker, because that triggers the sexual overperception bias and reinforces the stalking behavior. Okay, number two is that sexual overperception bias. Men need to realize that the inferences that they make about the intentions of women when they smile, or even when they give an incidental touch on the arm. That's another one. Incidental touch on the arm, a man thinks, oh boy, that's a signal. Men need to realize that sometimes they are over-inferring sexual interest when it's not there. It could be politeness, friendliness, or it could even be anxiety because the guy's a creep. And the third thing is to realize that we have a very complex mating psychology, a complex sexual psychology that involves, at a minimum, a system designed for sexual attraction and a system designed for long-term pair bonding, involving attachment and the emotion of love, which turns out to be universal. And I know one man told me that when he understood the logic of this, that there are these two evolved systems, it helped him to stay more faithful to his wife, because he realized that when he was attracted to women who were other than his wife, he realized, oh, that's just my evolved desire for sexual variety. It doesn't mean I don't love my wife. So that enabled him to remain more faithful to her, and I think lived happily ever after. So, in conclusion, I would just like to wish all of you the best of success in your own mating lives, and I hope some of this information helps you to reduce conflict between the sexes. Thank you very much.
I think all of what he had to say in the whole breakdown of everything was pretty dope. But when it comes to breaking up, I've never experienced nobody stalking me. I'm pretty sure that happens more to women than it is to men, but everybody's been through a breakup, and sometimes it goes well. I've also experienced breakups where you got the breakup, but y'all still linger and are somewhat involved after the fact. And that's never good because I mean you blocking your own blessings by doing that. You know, they're not even all the way in and you letting them linger. So that's a disaster waiting to happen in and of itself. Um, but in your Doris, in your experience with breakups, how have you typically handled them and how has it worked out
This
for
is
you?
this is my take on this. There is no way that I'm going to go from being the queen to being the side piece or the sometimes. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen because this is the thing. By the time I decide that we're going to date and I say yes to your date and we're going to hang out and all that, I really believe that you are worthy as a man and honorable enough for us to be involved because I have to respect you and I have to admire you if I want to date you, right? So why would I break up with you or we break up and then let you think that it's okay to treat me like something that is unimportant? It's not going to happen.
So you ain't never let a breakup. You ain't never let a
That's where
man
the
slide
stalking
back
comes
in
in.
after a
That's where
breakup.
the stalking comes in, though. That's where the stalking comes in.
Mm.
You know? That's where the stalking comes in, right? And so, because, like, for example, and I can only speak for me. So, mentalities, you know what? That was your husband, the cultural thing, right? You should get back with him. And because I never gave in, then now, oh, you think you're too good, right? But it's not that, it's that you understand. And this happens through maturity, through moving forward in your life and understanding who you are as a human being and understanding that, like he said, your mating life, right? Like your mating journey. If like when I got remarried, right? I was a bodybuilder and I decided, you know what, if I want to have more children. So yes, let's get married because I'm not gonna have a child out of wedlock. So we got married, we had more kids, and one day I'm at the Galleria in Houston, and I'm like, babe, look at that chick, look at her ass, it's so fabulous. I'm not saying it in a way of that I'm lustful because I like chicks. It's just that I come from the bodybuilding world, and shit, you know how much work it goes into looking really, really good. You know how much workout, dieting, it's a lifestyle. And it's a sacrificial lifestyle to look that good. And he was so angry with me. He's like, why do you want me to look at another chick's ass? And at that point, I was smart enough to say, babe, if you think that I think that I'm the last fine woman that you saw and you wanted to get with, you are so wrong. Because you're still human. Now you are going to see some fine motherfuckers out there. What you do with that is up to you. I have no problem with you walking in a public space and saying, damn, her ass looks good. Because guess what? I know how much work she probably put in hours in the gym to look that good. Because most of us are not that genetically gifted, right? And so you have to be real in the journey and understanding that if we decide to be in a partnership, because really and truly to be a husband and a wife or be partners for life is a partnership where you make decisions on a daily basis. Now, of course, I've been married twice. I learned some shit. It'd be really sad if I didn't learn anything and say, I decide to be with you, you decide to be with me. Yes, there are going to be attractive people out there, but I know what I want is at home. And probably if I go and screw around with this thing, it's going to mess up the good thing I have at home. So is it worth it? Return on investment as this person ain't there. So why would I do it? That's what you would think. Sometimes you fuck up. But realistically speaking, in a very sexual world where everything that sells is sex, you're gonna be stupid enough to go tap a piece of that is probably gonna cost your money. And guess what? It ain't even worth it. What do you think,
Candy.
Frank? What do you think, Manuel?
Well. I want to get about them breakups. So Frank,
Yeah.
have you? I know you've had a few breakups, but have you ever lingered after a breakup?
Once, and then we got married.
That worked out.
Let me see the wedding band. Where's the wedding band? Where's the wedding band?
So wait, hold on. Y'all broke up. You lingered. You stalked her, and then she married you.
No, I wasn't that type of lingering, man. Because it was the first time me and my late wife broke up when we were dating.
Okay.
She sat me down, we had the conversation, and the I guess the feeling was still there. So I was like, well, you know what? All right, I hear you, but can we still operate like this? Can we still operate like that, or whatever? Basically, can I still keep a foot in the door just in case you change your mind? And she was like, yeah. And so when I knew I had my foot in the door, I kicked the door down.
Yeah.
And I brought
but
me
that's
a ring.
because you saw the value.
But
you saw the value that she brought into your life. And you realized that whatever else was out there that even looked 10 times, look, the grass is going to be greener where you don't water it. Because you didn't put that work in. Right? But you realized that she was worth it. And that she was the one that you wanted to give up a lot of shit out there in the world that the world has to offer to build with. Because you know what? There's always going to be someone that looks better, that dresses better, has more money, that is younger, that is hotter, that is older, whatever your thing is. I used to date men that were 15 years older than me. Forever. If you were my age, you could never speak to me in life. Like you had no chance. And I was 27 years old. The men that I dated were in their mid-40s when I was young. So I realized, though, at the time that I met someone that I thought that was worth my time, that I felt was worth my time, right? Because guess what? In life, we can think and assume, but you're not going to know till you try. Because how long have you been married now, Frank?
Collectively, because my first wife passed in 2012. We were married.
No, but your second wife, like when you married.
Second wife.
Your last wife.
8 years. It'll be 9 years in November this year.
Right, and you know now that she was worth it, right?
Oh, definitely.
So
absolutely, because you would not be talking about 9 years.
I would say this: after breakups, did I linger? I mean, depending on the situation, if I was allowed to linger, I mean, if you gonna let me, if I was paying $5, but you gonna now take $1, I'm gonna pay $1 until you tell me, like, you know what I'm saying, it is what it is. But what I also came,
I ain't giving out no discounts, but
I came to a conclusion later that the fallout can be worse, right? So if a woman is lingering, she's probably doing so out of hope that things are going to get back, right? When somebody's lingering, they're hoping to get back to where it was. And what I learned that when they're lingering, and if it doesn't work out, that can go bad. That can go to another direction, and you can end up with a stalker. You can end up with somebody who's just a little, crazy, for lack of a better word, because you allowed them to linger and you still got the benefits of the relationship without the relationship title and the relationship respect and the relationship perks. And so when you decide to go ahead and take advantage of that moment because you know how they feel, that might not necessarily work out the way you think. You know what I'm saying? So I would say if you break up, you got to make it a clean breakup. You just got to go ahead. All right, we're done. We're not this. I'm gonna go my way. You go yours. That's the best. And if we get back together somehow, if it's something we're gonna do, we're gonna do it. But to linger, to play that game, it's a dangerous game to play. The law of averages will catch you. You do it enough time, you'll stop doing it. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, man, it's definitely a bad idea to linger, and what's even worse is to allow someone to linger. And I think that's when you get a lot of cases of to the extreme case, those murder suicides.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you get some simp on simp crime messing around letting these dudes damn linger, knowing you don't really want them. You get some simp on simp crime.
Right.
Anyway, we've been on here for we were supposed to be off maybe an hour ago almost. We're gonna go ahead and close it out. Doris, we appreciate you jumping on here, giving us a woman's perspective.
Appreciate you, Doris.
We needed one in here. It was 3 dudes. It was a sausage fest for a minute. So we needed something else on in here.
Well, I saw the message and you said, ladies and I hang around with a lot of dudes. So I was like, what are you talking? Let me see what you guys are talking about in here.
Appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it. All right, go ahead. Be sure to tune in next time. Go to the Facebook. I mean, go to the YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube as well. It's in the link of some of the other videos. And then absolutely, chime in whenever you're ready to. Even in the comments, just chiming in. We appreciate it.
Cool. Bye, guys.
All right, y'all. Have a good night.
See you later. All right.